If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. Lived 1,000 lives, I piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single role.
And we're on. Hi, this is Happy Jacks. We are doing our Rainbow Railroad today. I am your game master, actually facilitator. I don't really master the game actually sort of masters me. And this is our cast today. My name is Chris Gray, and why don't we just go around the circle and introduce ourselves, and I think Mo's going to tell us a little bit more about Rainbow Railroad.
Hey, I'm Mo, and let me just start by saying we're raising money for Rainbow Railroad, a charity that helps lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals escape from violence and persecution in their home countries. Last year we raised over $6,000, and this year our goal is $10,000. That is what it takes to get one person to safety. The donation page will be up for a month, with all donations eligible for our big prize of a year-long Dice Envy subscription. In addition, each game has its own set of amazing prizes that we will give out to the wonderful people who donate to during our live event. Thank you everyone for watching, supporting, and donating. Don't forget to spread the word so we can work together to reach our goal.
Well said. Well said. Well, who's joining us today? I think we have some familiar faces, but I think we should do the perfunctory. I'm Chris.
I'm usually Mac. And we'll find out. But at this point, who knows anymore? I was here midnight till 4. A lot of us have been here for a lot of weird shifts, so it's just reality is, just a construct.
You're here.
I think
Am I?
That's just your life, though, isn't it, Mac? Just sort of stumbling through the construct of life, like a constant state of sleep deprivation.
Way to fucking call me out. I missed you too.
I know. You need to aim higher. You keep missing me. Hi, Stork. Nice to see you guys. My first game. I slept like a baby.
I feel great.
Yeah, I feel great. What's wrong?
Motherfucker.
I hate you guys. Congratulations.
We haven't learned you.
I'm Pooja.
Oh.
This is my second shift as well. We had the crazy 4 a.m. game.
Nice. I would love to have seen that, but I was sleeping.
I hate you so much.
So, anyway, now that I've made friends at the table, today we are playing a game that has never been played on live anywhere else before. This is the Great American Witch. Great American Witch is built on the chassis of the Great American Novel, which is the game that I kickstarted and funded last year. And it is a narrative, story-driven game. Now, that doesn't mean it's a story game. Actually, it's kind of like some trad elements there that story gamers complain about it, but it is a game that uses story mechanically. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be playing witches in the modern day. This is sort of my take on World of Darkness. So these are witches that are living secretly in society, in covens, trying to fight supernatural warfare against agents of the Father God. So that's going to be what we're playing. This is sort of a collaborative scene building situation we're going to find ourselves in. We're going to have to work together to decide exactly what's going to happen. Usually would take a long time to figure out our coven, what our hearth is, where we go and hang out, and a bunch of other things, but we're not going to do that for the sake of time. I've just unilaterally decided what coven you are. So we'll start there. Before we even get into the coven, I want to talk about a little bit about the themes. The Great American, yes, you in the front.
I was just gonna say before we get into things, Mo, do you want to go over the prizes for our lovely
prizes?
listeners?
Well, we can't talk about prizes.
Prizes.
Oh, okay. Our top prize is a year-long subscription to the Dice Envy box, where you're going to get a box of dice every month from Dice Envy.
And I was told at 4 a.m. that it's not just dice. Sometimes they put in stuff.
Dice and stuff from Dice Envy. And you might envy some of their other stuff.
Dice Envy is my favorite. I have so many sets of Dice Envy.
Our top donation for this game, by the way, I want to say, hey, thanks, Sean, for the donation. We got our first donation,
Already?
everybody.
We haven't even started playing.
I
and you got a
know, this is
donation.
great. All we have to do is sit here.
You guys are doing great.
Thank you.
Our top game for the slot is Magpie Games PDF bundle with Mask, Urban Shadows, and oversized Rainbow D20 from Dice Envy. Every hour we're going to have a top donation.
2 hours.
Every 2 hours we're going to have 1 and 2 top donations per game, so every 2 hours. And it'll be a bundle of 12 amazing game downloads from indie creators. And, that's hour 1 and 2. The second half of the game, we're going to have the set of Pumpkin Spice Envy dice from Dice Envy.
I like the alliteration there.
Pumpkin Spice Envy dice.
Ooh, I have one of those. It's beautiful.
Yes? But how does it smell?
Yeah.
What's more important is how it tastes, and I
Right.
don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. The first rule of pumpkin spice: you don't talk about pumpkin spice.
I'd like to add with that the indie game collective. Some of my games are in there,
Uh-oh.
and yeah,
Is that good?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yay!
and some of my friends' games are in there. It's a great bundle, so it's worth it. You will get Great American Novel. You get Happiest Apocalypse on Earth. You'll even get 10 Workers United, fresh off the press.
Oh,
So,
nice.
just one
A
more
union
awesome...
game.
Yes, it is a union
It
game.
is really.
Mm-hmm.
I was
It
okay.
is about organizing your union using tin candles, but backwards. Long story. Anyway,
That's awesome.
It kind of is.
That sounds fantastic.
One more awesome reason to give.
okay, cool. Sorry, stole your thunder. Had to promote myself. I think that's my brand.
You're a game designer. It's a constant thing.
Me. Speaking of game design, let's design our game today. There are a couple of themes. In Great American Novel, you set up your themes for the day. I'm structuring some, and then we're going to come up with some for ourselves, because you could go Bewitched, or you could go like,
The craft.
American Horror Story, Coven, or The Witch, which I saw recently and it still traumatized me.
You don't want to live deliciously?
I know what that means. So you do, but watch carefully. So the main themes in today's game are there are actually 2 of them. One, witches are always at war. This is not a peaceful situation.
With each other, or
Sometimes.
Okay.
Think of it like feudal Europe in a way.
Okay.
There are 7 sisters. They're called the 7 Sisters, who are essentially the administrators of witchcraft in the United States. But it's not even a government. I mean, they just sort of like, don't do that, or we'll help you raise banners or whatever. But they kind of regulate witchcraft in this secret world. But among the witches, everybody sort of rules their own way in their own coven. Now, they're always at war because, yes, there's some jockeying between covens. We might see a bit of that today. But also because they are constantly under siege by the Father God and his agents. So these can be supernatural creatures like vampires. They can be the Illuminati. They could be really anything. It could be the government not knowing that they're agents, because the Father God wants to destroy witchcraft. So, witches, what are witches? Witches are people, doesn't matter gender. You could be non-binary, you could be woman, you could be man, whatever. But what you do as a witch is that you can lift the veil and see beyond and access the powers of the triple goddess and use that in the real world. Witches are fucking powerful in this game. They can level cities, they can summon storms, they can do all kinds of things. There is no worry about role creep or power. They are powerful, but there are also consequences. If they use their power, they can be, found out. Think about Mage and World of Darkness. You have to be careful on how much you reveal about yourself, because then you'll be crushed by, the local government. So that's sort of where we're playing. Witches are always at war. The other thing that's important to know about witches is that they are always in danger. That doesn't mean they're subjugated, quite to the contrary, but it does mean there's threats from all over the place, from inside the coven, outside the coven, against other covens, from the Seven Sisters, maybe don't like the kind of magic that they're practicing. The local cops think that these creepy people in that cul-de-sac down the end of the street need some reckoning with. They're always in danger. They're in danger of being revealed. They're in danger of losing their power. They're in danger of being sucked into the veil. Life isn't fun. They also have to go to their job, pay the bills, find income for the coven.
Can you stop just describing my life because you made it a game?
All right.
You feeling attacked?
You have to pay off your student loans. Oh, sorry, I'll stop. So anyway, those are the main themes of the games. Those don't change. Beyond that, now we're going to decide at the table other themes we want to deal with. I'll give you an example. When we played this before, it turned into sort of a Harry Dresden thing where these witches are really just trying to figure out problems that are happening in their neighborhood and trying to keep the neighborhood safe from werewolves or whatever else might be coming in. But if you think about like American Horror Story, that's a whole different thing. Now we have like a change in power in the ranks of the coven, threats outside. So that's where we're going to start. I'm going to give you these. And if you have pencils, use them.
There's a whole jar here for anybody that needs one.
So on these cards, I want you to write down 3 ideas, things that you would like to play in this game. They can be.
Are we getting sets of 3?
Yeah. No, I'm just throwing them.
Oh, okay.
We're going to use a lot of these, so just keep some around. This is not exactly an eco-friendly game.
Yet.
So
I should get those dry erase.
So what we want to see.
Yeah. So it could be something like, I want a car chase. Chris, make sure there's car chase in this game. It could be, I want politics. I want evil, horrible, just terrifying magic. I want, things like that. It could be very broad. I just want a horror genre. Or it could be very specific. I want to make sure that there are family tensions between sisters in the coven. Just 3 things. And we're going to do as a group, we're going to read them off and decide what of those things we actually want to include as major themes. Because these are my marching orders to make sure you get this experience today. And we'll worry shortly about what things we don't want in the game.
The exciting pencil
Yes.
writing part of the game.
Yes.
And for the next 3 hours, we will be doing this.
Ooh, pencil writing ASMR.
Instead of D&D.
Writing the novel, the role-playing game.
Drawings and diagrams, the role-playing game.
NaNoWriMo.
We're going to get pluses in November.
I'm stuck here with 2.
But if you have ideas, start spitballing.
So my first one right off the top was a Fey incursion.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh, that kind of goes along with the only one I've come up with so far, which is a new power emerging.
I wrote down monsters, please, so that also works.
The next one I have is rival coven.
I put tension between covens.
Okay,
I like the idea of graceful spaces disrupted.
that's a
Elevating it.
yes.
Yeah, I was like, I wrote monsters,
Fancy.
please, and you're just like, art.
So eloquent.
Do a little bit of threats to our power, threats to our coven security.
Horror, anyone?
Yeah.
All of
All
it.
the time, forever.
I keep
More tentacles.
I keep thinking about the scene in Doctor Strange where time stops or goes back and forth. For some reason, it keeps going into my head. And I keep thinking, no, that's just. But I don't know, maybe a time stop moment or a fluid time. That doesn't have to happen. It can be complicated, but maybe jumping back and forth in time.
So I'm hearing the major themes are we need monsters and or Fae. Right.
You could have Fey monsters.
Yeah. Fey monsters work.
Even the nice Fae are monsters.
If you do
There's
it right.
nothing more dangerous than just a straight neutral or a chaotic neutral Fey.
Yeah.
Because they're so unpredictable.
I've heard that we want horror. And we want the Coven's power challenged. I heard that.
I like the idea of some clash with mortal witches that are like practicing and actually don't know the reality of the situation.
The posers.
Yes.
Oh,
They
yeah.
can be their own coven.
Dabblers.
Those basic witches, hashtag.
Kitchen witches.
That'd be
The
such a
Karens.
basic wish.
Karen.
The Karens. An incursion of Karens.
That is horror.
I think that's what you call a group of Karens, is an incursion.
It's a complaint. It's a complaint.
Karen.
Of Karens.
Very nice.
Oh my God.
Someone get out an exaltation lark, start adding it. To all the editors.
All right.
Could
So,
reprint it.
rival coven. Some of these can be combined. Okay, I kind of get an idea of sort of the game we're looking for. And I put all the other ideas on here to bring in as opportune. Usually we're going to come up with 3 that sort of everybody agrees on. So we have a pretty good list. Okay, what this game is not. And this will give us a chance to put out anything that we don't want in the game. This we can do privately, so this is sort of a lines and veils exercise, if you know what that is, which is that I do not want this in my game. This is a line. And the veils are, you can have it, but I don't want to spend any time on it. And so these are, and if you don't have very many boundaries, don't worry about it, because we have X cards on the table, or we will.
There's
do.
X cards.
So
There's
we can
one
always
here.
X and then add it to the list. But we don't have to openly talk about this either. Go ahead and just write down on your cards things that you don't want, and I'll read them off when we're all ready.
What we should openly talk about is how awesome Rob is for contributing.
Thank
you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Rob.
This is that no sketchers, Rob?
Is that Hosier Rob?
Oh, that's so cute. Dedicated to the whole Happy Jacks crew using powers for good as opposed to every other stream we do. Even so. We haven't actually started yet, Rob.
That's got to be Hosier Rob. Thanks, Rob.
It is.
I would change that to especially Stork.
You know what? Just to say thank you, I'm going to order a box of Skechers. Have it sent to your house, Rob. Yeah. On you. What shoe size are you?
What if it's not him? And you just send it to, then you just started it. Okay, anyway.
Then we just started more shoe.
Hosier Rob will is right now getting up out of bed and running. He's like, no, don't do it! Save some guy! Don't do it!
Non-returnable, pay on receipt. Okay, what
That's
this
so
game is not. First of all, this isn't about, subjugating women through witchcraft. We're not going to deal with any of those issues. So we're not going to have any of that. I'm not going to have, guys in pilgrim hats burning witches at the stake. This game is not a way to rag on religion either. Actually, in the game, a lot of the witches practice religion as well, and some of them even marry religion with their craft. So religion isn't the problem. Now, the bad people in religion using religion might be, but religion itself isn't. The other thing that we're not going to do is, those are the things. Yeah. They're not going to objectify women as caricatures. These aren't, we're going to do it with real people. This doesn't mean that you can't play, like I said before, the gender is not an issue for witch, so that means you can be gender fluid, you can be a woman, you can be a man, none of that matters. The female powers that are being drawn on are cosmological powers, metaphorically brought to the world through the triple goddess, maiden, mother, crone. The masculine powers are a metaphorical power that are brought through the metaphor of the Father God. Now, some people might worship them as is, some of them might not. Now, we've already gone through the process of choosing your craft, and you'll find that all the crafts are sort of tied to a mythological person, usually a woman. That's not always the case. The Seven Sisters say that you can practice these 7 crafts, but then, of course, all witches are like, no, I'm going to practice whatever I want. You can have a Stevie Nicks craft if you want, or you can, it could be like Gordon Ramsay craft, whatever. Doesn't matter. But these are the ones that are expected and that are protected and that have an actual system to them. So, all right. Anything else that we don't want in the game? Go ahead and just write down, and then I'll collect them and we'll put that in. If you don't care so much, then don't worry about it.
I don't mind saying out loud the sexual violence and kitty violence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those are always my lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty open. It's funny, though, when something does offend me, I will then know. But I won't know until I stumbled into it. But those 2 for sure.
Yeah.
You know it when you see it.
Yeah. Like that. You know what? There's a line there. I just noticed it.
And there's tone lines that you might have. Like this card says goofy. We don't want it to be a goofy game. Can play that game that way, but not this game. Any others? Are we good? Cool. Well, let's not linger. As I said, there are different types of covens. Covens can be covens that are entirely devoted to helping other people. Some of them are entirely devoted to training more witches, like, I guess, the Hogwarts coven. I don't know. Some of them might be about, we only practice this particular craft. We are a coven of hags, as an example. Your coven is the Storm. The Storm coven, which I have some notes here for you, is a coven that thinks we're being a little too docile about the whole Father God thing. They aren't exactly liked by other covens because they're constantly making noise. They're constantly practicing magic in the open. They're constantly waging war, and they're constantly causing problems for many of the other covens. The Seven Sisters, in fact, don't like them at all. Now, because they don't actually have any authority, they can't exactly make these covens illegal, but they're certainly not expected to help them out if anything goes wrong. So the Storm, think of them as like the organized crime of witches, practicing in the open, making some real change.
And benefiting on occasion?
Well, yeah.
This is an awfully nice storefront you got here. It'd be a shame if someone were to curse it.
I'm just thinking more like it's the IRA of covens. you
Right,
know?
it can go that way too, for sure. And in fact, that's sort of at this point, let's talk about the coven. We talk about the coven before we talk about the characters, because you guys are bound by the coven. So the Storm says that your coven has a sworn oath. Every coven does. This is what makes your coven. So what is your sworn oath? What do you have to say in order to become a part of this coven? Some examples here. Dismantle the status quo by any means necessary. So that's like an IRA kind of approach. But it could be just bring justice to the world that doesn't have any justice right now. And that's a little different. It could be witchcraft is no longer going to be under the ground. This is going to be a mandate. Everybody has to expect who we are and respect who we are. If you watch True Blood, that would be like the vampires that are saying, no, we own humanity, so why are we even playing politics, right? Or it could be something that's not on this list, something that's, maybe it's because you need to find money and you have to use magic for that, and sometimes that means breaking the law. Or it could be that you're just sick of shit.
Sick of shit. That sounds like a good oath, like for all the times.
So we all have to agree on one oath?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's not on this list, then it's something. What is it that you have to agree to be a part of this coven? This is going to be important in the game, because what if you go against that, and now your coven's turning against you because you're not following, we agreed to this. We said that this is what our mandate is, and now you're going against it, and that creates interpersonal conflict.
I like how messy words like justice can be. I also like the idea of using force to enact change.
I really like
those
that
two
one.
are kind of the same to me.
Yeah, I like to use force that enacts change a lot.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
Make change through force. Okay. So, 1792 France.
Or kicking the dough. waving the
1970s
phone.
Ireland.
Okay.
All I heard was witches don't hit me no more.
I've been listening to the Revolutions podcast, so I'm all fired up.
Okay.
Yeah. Vive la France. Okay. Here we go. We also need to decide what your hearth is. Now, this is fun. Where does your coven operate? What is your home? Now, it doesn't mean you have to live there. If it's a really good hearth and the coven can pay the bills on its own by, selling things or having a business of their own, then that's one thing. Or maybe it's just a meeting place and you all live in an apartment somewhere. Or maybe it's a secret bunker and you're all holed up in there. And there's some suggestions here on this list. But what do you think? What would be a cool place for your coven to be? And if it helps, let's also talk about where are we? Are we in L.A.? Are we in Minneapolis? Are we
Okay.
Florida?
And
No,
time
no.
and time frame too. It's modern days.
Yeah, we can change that too. If you want to make it 1947 New York, we can do that. I had it in my head modern, but it doesn't have to be.
I'm good with modern.
Yeah, modern's fine.
Okay.
I think it would be interesting if we had some sort of like storefront that we operate and we all meet at. I'm not sure exactly what form that should take.
Do we like generic American city since we're American witches, or do we want the locales that we find specifically someplace?
I mean, I'm okay with it being generic.
I need to stick with what I know. If we start wandering too far afield, I might.
Well, could we do like a mid-sized college town?
Okay.
Sure.
Like if y'all like generic, but that gives you some specificity to work off
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. Don't put me in.
Yeah,
rural Nebraska.
I'm just asking, should we be generic, or should we be in LA, or should we be in Pasadena? I hear that's an exotic place.
It has Paris.
Is anybody in chat telling us what to do?
No,
Right.
they're busy making air horn sounds.
Oh, okay.
Wherever we are, we should say thank you to Michael for donating.
Thanks, Michael.
He donated in the last game, too. Thank you so much, Michael.
Honestly, for funsies, Pasadena would be interesting.
Let's
That's
do
where
it.
we're at.
All right.
The Little Witches from Pasadena.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that a Beach Boys song? And so anyway, we're still working on our hearth.
Yeah, but to give it
Storefront.
context, yeah.
Maybe like an antique shop?
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
perfect. Love that. Love that. 'Cause
Especially for whatever my weird mental image of Pasadena is.
it's so perfect. I was
the
actually
same
thinking
one.
like
Which
a
is
gaming
Sears
store,
House
but I didn't
and
want to.
Well, and then we can, since we have sort of a criminal element to us, we can be selling other things under the table through the antique store.
Well,
Yep.
where do you find antiques? Have to acquire them somehow.
And are you pro-antique, or I'm not voting for this, but it could be interesting. What do you think about a pawn shop? Because now we're transacting in the cash.
Well, it's kind of what an antique store is, right? The people come in with their stuff that Grandma had, and then you buy them.
It's like
Okay.
antique store being a pawn shop with more history.
Yeah. And occasionally we have the eye out for magical items. that
Yeah, I feel
wander
like
through.
an antique store is a good thing, but they kind of run the back
Yeah.
end like a pawn shop a little bit.
They really are a pawn shop, antique stores. It's like, oh, that thing's not worth a thing. We'll just I'll buy it to you for $5 and then turn around and sell it for $500.
All right, so an antique shop, great. We'll go with it. I had in my head when you said that, like the antique shop storefront, the pawn shop storefront, that they all go into the same building. There's a curtain
They
in
share
between.
the same
There's a
backwards.
door on one end of the block and door on the other. You're like, hey, wait a minute.
Not selling any antiques. Put it next door.
Just go up the stairs.
Anyway, okay, so we have an antique shop in Pasadena. One of the things that we need to decide is how big is your coven? Is it just you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it being just a small group still.
Other witches don't make it.
They don't have enough conviction.
That's right.
Now, a lot of this is typically organic, but since this is a one-shot, I am putting some novelist mandates in here. One of them is that you do have a boss.
Okay.
This is the Mother Superior Antoinette. She is a very skilled, very respected business person, both in the broader witch world and also in the mundane world. So she's sort of your Dawn, if you will. But yeah, the crew, you guys, that's it. And
So-
we have...
So Antoinette is a living person that like hangs out at this pawn shop, and she sort of tells us what to do.
She's the superior of the coven.
Antique shop.
Don't correct me.
She is
antique shop?
she is the directory of the Republic.
Okay.
No, she is she's the superior. So
Okay.
she has the power and the influence of the coven, and it is very much you do what she says, but she's good at it. So she doesn't send you off to do something that you're not supposed to be doing.
Okay.
And she does listen to rebuttals, but no, she's the boss. She is the boss.
She's connected to the other covens. All right.
Yeah.
So she's a benevolent dictator
Yes.
for us.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Not so benevolent necessarily for anyone else.
Right. Yeah.
Does she get us out of trouble?
Oh yeah, yeah. She's she has some contacts in the court system. She works with Coven of Whispers, which is a coven that's actually integrated in the mundane world, and so she gets a lot done through that coven. she's kind of like an unassuming sort of older, dark-skinned lady, like the kind that gets you cookies and sits on the porch. That's her persona. But those of you that know her, she doesn't really live up to that brand. So that's your coven. This might be a good time to start talking about what are you thinking in terms of your characters. You have picked a craft. A craft is the specific magical tradition that your witch follows. That is, I think you all chose regular ones, because there is a craft called the Broken Circle, which is you're not practicing any of the 7 sanctioned crafts, you're just practicing whatever you want, and that's a whole different thing. But the ones that are not Broken Circle are here, and I think we have some decisions already.
We do. I wanted to ask real quick before we move on to that. I'm sorry, I have questions.
Please.
On our Covens page, it says connections and resources.
Oh, yeah.
Are we not doing that one for...
Well, I kind of inserted one, but we can have
Okay,
have one
so
from
Mother,
that list.
Like
yeah.
Antoinette is our connection.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
But if you want another one that looks good on there, you're welcome to have it. What she's referring to at the connection and resources section is every coven has something special that they can draw from whenever they need it. And the Storm can have an active organization working under their control, which is useful if you want to throw some, Molotov cocktails in somebody. You have a stash of weapons. Quiet approval of the Seven Sisters. Remember, the Seven Sisters don't like Storm because it's always causing problems. But what if you're one of these covens that they're like, okay, we'll let them go because they do good work for us.
They're disposable.
Yeah. Or maybe a hideout that can't be. So things like that. So knowing that you're sort of being public when you shouldn't be, what would be your resource?
Maybe we're their activist organization.
We're like the Mission Impossible team. They need us, but they will deny our
all knowledge of
our. But every now and again, it's like, you guys
come on,
need to go do this thing that we can't endorse.
Yeah. Can we not level the entire Capitol building, please?
Or we need the Capitol building leveled, but we can't endorse it, so you guys have to go do it.
Right.
I think also, just as an alternative to that, we could be providing financial backing to the Seven Sisters through our business.
Oh, so then they're the evil they need.
Yeah.
I like it. Money talks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they don't really talk about it, but we're funding them.
I also like the idea that occasional magical items wander through our antique shop. That we're always on the lookout for people handing in what look like useless family heirlooms, but turn out to be something more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've mentioned that a couple times. I'll make sure that happens. That sounds interesting. All right. So we have a coven. We have a reason for being. Who are you all? And what is your role in the coven? That's what we need to figure out. Now, the sheets do have things you can fill out, but we can also make it much more organic, so I don't want the listeners to have to wait for us to fill out our sheets.
So, dumb questions. I see all this stuff, and I'm like, what does it all mean?
Oh, yeah, well.
I see curses, divination, and blessing. Is that what I do?
Yeah, I'll walk you through the sheet real quick.
Okay.
So, on the sheet, you have a little bit about what your craft is, your holy day and your day of atonement. Those are mechanical reasons. Like, we're not going to get into that because it's just a one-shot. But if it happens to be your holy day, that means you get an extra die and advantage. If it's your atonement day, you don't. Your coven has those too. This particular coven is Samhain. But because it's a one-shot, we're taking place, the game is going to take place on the Lunar New Year, since it's the Lunar New Year coming up. It brings up a couple of interesting points about that. First of all, it's not your holy day. Secondly, it's actually a new moon, so that means everybody's magic is at woe. So you're only using the lowest number of a disadvantage, basically. So not to get too much into minutia, because we start playing, I'll start pointing some things out, but I'll just walk you through what this stuff is. The maiden magic, this is, okay, so you can practice magic in maiden, mother, or crone. You, as a character, will be either one of these three aspects at any given time. you'll start the game choosing your aspect. So I'm going to start off as mother. That means then you can practice mother magic. And that also means you get a bonus on any wisdom rolls you make. So, but if you go a wrong direction on your behavior, you might change your aspect just naturally through what you do. And then if you really want to practice crone because there's somebody you need to melt, I think there's a Lilith magic spell that actually you bleed out of every orifice.
Yeah.
If you really need to do that. You will you will need to spend currency called charm in order to change your aspect and do that, or start doing more crone-like things and advance yourself to crone. So that's what these are. So you have really 3 different types of magic for every aspect. Tara is a little different.
Yeah.
Tara changes. If you know about the mythology of Tara, she will change based upon what needs to happen. So if you want to be crone and you're maiden, you actually have magic that says, okay, I'm a crone now.
That's what I was reading
Yeah.
when you were saying that. I'm like,
Yeah.
this doesn't seem right, but okay. Yeah. So she's mercurial and can change to fitting whatever the situation
Whatever
is.
you need to do, yeah. So this is the basic structure of the game. You do have basic moves as well. On the back, you'll see your moves. These are narrative-driven moves. So if you're punching a guy in the face, I'm going to ask you why, and that'll determine which die you roll.
Okay.
Do we all have the same moves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all just basic moves.
Okay.
So that's the character sheet. Now, let's go ahead and go around the table. What crafts did you pick? And do you have an idea of who your character is yet, or do we need to help you flesh that out some more? Do you want to go first?
Sure. I picked the Craft of Hecate, and I have no ideas at the moment
Okay.
as to who I am. So
That's
if people, if chat wants to chime in here, or if somebody wants to donate to make me do things, go ahead. Now is your time. Puppet my body. Oh wait, no, that's way too far.
That went the wrong direction.
Oh my.
The Hecate craft is about ancient traditions of death magic. So this is a Greek path. The kind of magic that you practice are about like what happens when you die. You can also condemn people. There's some really cool stuff you can do, and I think in general the idea of your role in the coven would be sort of like almost a counselor in a way, because you have all 3 aspects pretty much at your disposal, like Tara does, but you are you really can go dark or you can not. So you're kind of like I'm thinking of the Greek Egyptian mythology, where you have Anubis kind of like kills you if you do the wrong thing, but can actually guide you to the right afterlife. Mm-hmm. You're sort of like that role in mythology. So I don't know if that helps or made it worse.
Chat suggested that you're the rare book dealer.
I like it. I'll take it.
Good.
My name is Ellen Louise. I am the Craft of the Spider Grandmother.
Oh, that's a good one.
And
they're all good ones.
I spend most of my time in crone, hanging out in a rocking chair, just greeting whoever comes in.
By the way, your form can change based on your aspect, your physical, the way you look, but it doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be like you're an old lady or an old man. Yeah. It can be just you look a little more severe than normal.
There's a benefit. There are privileges to being an old person and getting away with it, whatever you want.
I think the Superior Antoinette kind of plays that card a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I will want you to put your name and pronouns of the character on a card. If you can make a tent. And I have markers because of my bad 42-year-old vision.
Do you have a thing, Stork, or for your character?
Yeah. You want me to go while we're doing that? I picked the Craft of Terra. Mm-hmm. Craft of Terra is, I'll read it later. The Craft of Terra is about reaching balance through force, by mercy or by severity. The Terra which changes aspects to adapt to any situation. And I decided to name her Aoife McGowan. It's she, her. And she was brought over from Ireland by Antoinette because of her affinity she has a natural affinity towards both severity and mercy. Just crazy.
From Ireland. From the old world.
Yes, I'll be trying an Irish accent. 'Cause it's tradition here in our Happy Jacks that somebody does a bad Irish accent most of the game.
Yeah, and one of my games here was Adam, and for our Downton Abbey game, and Ella Louise.
So I have Jaina, who is the Craft of Lilith. The Craft of Lilith is about primal destiny of the Mother Goddess. Their magic is not for the faint of heart, and their close relationship with vampires is not appreciated by other witches. I think that she, one of her big functions within the shop is assessing the worth and value of things, because she has vampire connections that were there when a lot of these items were made. So she actually has some vampires she goes to and uses as a resource to help assess what the value is of these various things.
Awesome. You can make vampires too.
I know. Also in the game.
That's what I meant, yeah. I'm glad that the game so far is very accurate.
You're just now meeting Mac, aren't you?
Oh, we've never played a game. Well, no, we played Decima together.
Yeah, that's been it so far.
Yeah. I have these little dice that you can use to track your aspect.
Thank you.
And how would that work?
So there's a little chart on the back of your character sheet that...
Oh, right, I see. So you just put the dice in.
Yeah, you can just
in
move it
whatever.
around. So you start off at Mother, and you might move down here to different aspects. Kind of like a...
I'm actually going to be doing that on the front of my character sheet, so I'll just draw little boxes of my own here.
Are you sure you want fork?
Because otherwise, you may have to burn the entire set.
Oh, you just move them.
No,
No.
Stork is cursed.
Oh, that's fine. That's all right.
Oh, all right.
I'll you know what? I'll call
Smoking
it.
the curse.
I'll write it Stork on here, and then I'll hold on to it when somebody needs to borrow them for Fireball.
Perfect.
See, as a customer of Dice Envy, I have no shortage of dice. Dice Envy.
That's why you want to win that monthly subscription box, people.
Because when Stork touches your dice.
And speaking of people, Michael is in it for a penny, in it for a pound. He is just giving and giving and giving. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael.
Awesome. Oh, I picked a name. It is Raish and they, them.
Okay. Oh, what am I?
And what's your craft?
Hecate.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm assuming since we're all in a coven, we kind of know each other's power sets.
Yes. Yes, and this next and really kind of final step is sort of determining what your relationships are. There's a formal process for this, but we can make it informal. It's like, first of all, are there anybody? Is anybody related? We know you're from Ireland, so you're probably not related to anybody. But is there anyone here? Sisters, siblings, parents? Is there anybody that's a mentor? Is there, close childhood friends? Those are the kinds of things that we can find within the coven. And really, what we need to get to is, why did you end up in this coven? And we sort of know your answer. You were plucked.
Recruited.
Yeah. We need this person. And so you might feel like you're an outsider, but maybe you make connections. What are you thinking?
You want to be my half sibling?
Yes.
Also in the game.
Art imitates life.
Yeah, that's the name of this game, Mac, the role-playing game.
I think I'm somehow related to Antoinette. I don't know if she's a blood relative or if she has always been a informal aunt in my life, or maybe she's a sister. But I'm younger and considerably more brash.
Okay. Yeah, that totally works, especially for what I had in mind. Are you thinking daughter or younger sister?
Sister.
Okay.
It's more sibling.
Would it be possible that you are sort of in line for the coven if she goes?
That should not be practical, but sure.
Cool. All right, and so you, how did the two of you then end up in the coven? I assume you came in together.
Yeah, maybe, let me know if this is too sad. Maybe we were actually both orphans and had been adopted by the same parents, and we're adults now and they passed on, and we, kind of found our way to this antique shop because there was, we have an interest in, those kind of things.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
But, as I got more interested in dealing with rare books, we found the antique shop, and we were already practicing together and became part of the coven after that.
Yeah, so maybe you were like minimum wage employees that were there enough, or you were just local community members that came in a lot, or you're just witches that knew about the coven.
I mean, there could be a number of things. It could have been we walked into the shop one day and Antoinette was like, oh, these two, they've got something going for them. They've got power and, I should talk to them about it and, welcome them in.
It's like, I can use this.
Baby, you look thirsty. Why don't you take a load off and have a cup of tea? We should talk.
Can I make a suggestion for your bookstore, because I've always wanted to use it and it really works well with witches? So it's a pun from Wicked. No good read goes unpublished.
Oof.
Sorry. Anyone?
I'm going to mute Stork.
Okay. I already am. There we go. That's better. I'm unmuted now. No good read goes unpublished. No good deed goes unpunished.
I know,
Okay, all right. Sorry.
We
I'll
get
sit
it.
over here and shut up.
Are you generally okay with Antoinette's choices as she brought the small coven together?
I'm generally not impressed, but
Were you of the opinion that we needed a coven at all? Why are you doing this?
The idea of a coven kind of can get me out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I'm pro.
And you're
coven.
self-aware enough to know that that's true. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. And so I kind of put a murky idea on how old she was, but you two have probably been around for a while doing this. Maybe
At least a couple generations.
Yeah, okay. Oh, a couple generations. Okay. I was about to say a couple decades, but a couple generations works even better. Okay. All right, cool. So the relatively new group of people then. Now, how old are you two?
Maybe early 20s?
Yeah, I was thinking mid-20s, so yeah, perfect.
All right. And
I would just say early 30s. Let's say 32.
all right, so it is sort of a young coven. This is probably like batch 2 after another batch went wrong.
I saw that batch go wrong.
And maybe we don't talk about it, but
Gremlins 2, the new batch.
We'll do better this time. Maybe there won't be any bridge bombings. We'll come up with other tactics. Okay, so sort of a young coven, probably you probably haven't been around each other relatively long. So how long ago were you brought in?
Oh, let's say about 5 years.
Okay. Were you two brought in at the same time, or before or after her?
I think we were brought in at the same time.
All right. So the three of you actually might be kind of close. Is there something that the two of them have done to piss you off?
Well, everything kind of pisses me off.
Okay.
Because nothing, everybody's one way or the other, and everything needs to be balanced. It's, isn't that my thing?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
We have to force it into balance.
Yeah. I sometimes have to force it into balance. So, I'm kind of always on the verge of you guys are, it's not one or the other. But anyway, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of cranky.
Okay.
Again, art and life.
I may have to modify that. I don't seem to play cranky characters a lot.
It's okay. You can do that.
We were talking about this earlier. Brand is fine.
Can you write your names and pronouns on the back, too?
Oh.
Well, I don't care about you two. I just can't read them.
May I?
Yes, please. So, are you okay with your half-sister getting into Lilith? Lilith is very bloody. Kind of a winner-take-all sort of craft.
Honestly, it sounds quite like it works together to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like dovetails.
Yeah.
Bloody, death, souls moving on.
Perfect marriage, actually. Yeah, okay. All right, so I don't see any conflict there. What about Ella? Is it all right that you have a Lilith in your midst? Somebody that apparently talks to vampires and can make them?
I mean, we all have our friends, and there are times, and you need to. It's good to know who you know.
All right. Sounds like a pretty tight group then. Cool. Well, it is. Before we get started, you have to choose your stats. That's one thing I almost forgot. You have 3 stats. They are mercy, wisdom, and severity. Now, there is a stat array which I don't have in front of me, so you can choose to put. The whole thing can only total 2, so you could do like a 1, 1, and 0, or you could do a 2, 0, 0, or you could do like a -2, 1, and 1. You can do however the math you want. But take a look at kind of like if you're Lilith, you might want to favor severity a bit.
Yeah, way ahead of you.
So the other thing is you can't have more than 2 in any one stat because sometimes you might have a +1 because of your aspect. These are going to be bonuses to your 2d6 die rolls, just like Powered by the Apocalypse.
Cool.
That's one thing these sheets need is the stat array, so sorry about that. But we can do math, right? On a Saturday afternoon?
Well, it's really just 2. I mean, it's not much in math.
I mean, honestly, if it was much more math than this,
Right.
then the answer would be no.
All right, cool. So it is the Lunar New Year. And while this particular coven assigns Samhain as its holy day, the Lunar New Year is a big deal, especially for neighboring covens. What is it, Ella, that this coven does to celebrate the Lunar New Year?
I think we just have a bit of a bacchanalia. There's lots of strong drink. There are lots of hallucinogenic herbs, and we also have a lot of people who don't normally hang out at the store come by.
Okay.
There's a strong, handsome young boy that I've known for a while, who he's a bit lupine. And, it's a good time for old friends to come around.
All right. So, Raish and Jaina. The Lunar New Year is also when the Mother Superior takes meetings with some of her more powerful contacts. Mm-hmm. And it's also a time when people ask favors of her because she tends to be, since it's the New Year, maybe we can make an accord kind of thinking. What do you do? Not that day.
It's following my shoe.
Well, although the parallels are quite striking. What is it that you do in order to coordinate this group of people that come in to see her? What is your role?
The gatekeepers.
Yeah, and I think for good measure, maybe I bring in one of my vampire friends.
Oh, and who is he?
Actually,
She.
she. Her name is Angelica.
Okay. So we haven't talked about vampires yet in this game.
Fixing that for you right now.
Yeah. So can they come out at night or in the day, or is this are they like True Blood?
Are they sparkly?
Catch on Fire?
They are definitely not sparkly. I believe one of your lines was goofy, so we're not going with that. Actually, I kind of want to go like the Buffy route, where if you have certain magical items that are imbued with something, you are able to come out in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
They're rare, but they do exist, and Angelica is one of like my oldest vampire friends, and I managed to score one for her that came through the shop. So she kind of owes me.
Well, when was she turned?
She was turned about just like a few years ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
She was one of my best friends,
Mhm.
and was diagnosed with something terminal, and kind of made an oops vampire to save her.
Got it. So
It's not an oopsie
not only
baby.
a friend, but
It's not an oopsie baby, it's an oopsie vampire. And kind of maybe made a little bit of a vampire out of my friend because she wasn't ready to go yet. She was still so young.
okay.
Did you just say oopsie baby?
Yes.
That's... How come I've gone my entire life and never heard that phrase before?
You're
You
a
were
lucky
today's
man.
year old.
I've got 2 kids.
But do you have a oopsie baby?
2 kids.
Oops, vampire.
Oops, all vampires.
More than a friend, really. I mean, this is sort of somebody that's really tied to
I mean,
you.
we're live
Yeah.
streaming. I don't want to ask you about the combination of how that happened.
So Angelica's there to help with this, and Effie. Why does the Mother Superior usually want you in the room with her when she's taking these interviews?
I'm going to say that I am sort of the overseas shopper. So I've got connections in Ireland and Europe, and we bring antiques in from there. And so I'm sort of, I'm the buyer, perhaps, or appraiser for some of the things that that come from overseas. Is that what you're asking, or are you talking about the Pokémon?
Yeah. Well, why does she want you in the room with her? But that does answer the question because you're there to make sure things are on the up and up.
Yeah,
Because
and-
she's making deals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You also have a short fuse, right?
Yeah.
And that probably comes in handy
It comes in
sometimes.
handy. Yeah.
You see it as a short fuse, but really it's just it's a low level of bullshit. It's just
Yeah.
there's just like it's
You don't suffer fools.
do
At
not
all.
suffer fools. That's a great definition of this craft. They do not suffer fools.
Where are my rules?
While you look for your rules, I just want to say thanks for giving, Chris.
I
You're the
did.
best.
Oh, another Chris.
Another
Hi, Chris.
From one Chris to another.
There are so many Chris's in my life.
I know.
It's amazing.
The funny thing is, this is my middle name too, so I didn't choose it.
Oops, all Chris's.
Donald Chris's.
And somebody named Kimmy also gave.
Kimmy, I know her.
Do we know a Kimmy?
Odd way.
She causes
I
some
think
trouble
there's
around
a
here.
hat and glasses on behalf of all the great people at Happy Jacks and their work providing countless hours of entertainment.
Oh, thanks, Kimmy. We love you.
Kimmy.
I think this is also a good time to say, like, obviously we love it when people donate. It's a great cause, but you aren't always able to. But what you can do that would be so appreciated as well is spread the word about what we're doing right now, and also donations will be open for almost a whole month now after this. So if blast it on your socials, whatever you want. Like, tell your friends about Rainbow Railroad, and I keep trying to say Reading Rainbow. It's like just so
I've run into
ingrained
that.
in
Yeah,
my-
I've run into that myself.
in my soul. But it's such a good cause. So, like, even if you can't donate, like, if you could tell people about it, that would be really, really helpful too. Like, we desperately want to be able to meet this $10,000 goal. I learned this morning that that's about what it costs to get one person to safety.
Yeah.
So it is a really, really difficult task and a really, like, expensive one to help these people. So, like, we want to so badly, and we need your help to do that.
Yep. And this is a legitimate thing. None of this is going in our pocket. It's going all to the charity. So help out.
Last year we broke the goal.
Yeah.
Let's try to break it this year.
Yeah.
I think we can. All right, cool. I found my notes.
Excellent.
So, who wrote this game? It's like so disorganized.
I know him. Don't talk bad about him.
We're going to do a what's called a montage scene, and this is a scene in which you have complete and total narrative control. That means you are literally the facilitator of the game at this point. The only thing you can't control are other character players, but you can introduce NPCs, like you've already done. You can make decisions about the setting. You can do whatever you want if you are running the game. But it's centered around your character. And so if you can picture this as a TV show opening up, what is Roche doing? And then just kind of bring the world to life however you want, and when you're done, pass it on, and we'll just do a montage of all the characters, so we can get to know who you are, what you're about, and kind of plant your feet on the ground for the game.
Okay. I think Rach is.
Oh, Rach, sorry.
It's okay. My handwriting is probably not very
I know now that that's an A.
I should do the fancy A's, like Vectus.
It's a nice A. I mean, I can see it now. It's just my glasses aren't on.
But I think Rage is talking to. I'm going to call him Philip, because I can. And Philip comes by a lot. He really wants to get in good with the Mother Superior, but he is one of those people who makes really big promises and does not deliver. He's trying to work all sides.
Is Philip a witch, or is Philip immortal? That
I think Philip might be a low-level member of, like, Pasadena city government.
Okay. But perfectly aware that this is an operating coven in Pasadena. Or no?
What do y'all think?
Maybe not. Maybe it's just, a business, but one that is, we may even be in a historical building.
I think he knows that we have somebody's favor who gets things done.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
I see, and the angle I was going to go with is he's actually kind of an antique nut, and he kind of has a little crush on you. But we recognize that he could be a useful person to know because he's connected with the government. So we keep that going.
See, I'm kind of going with a little bit of the opposite.
Okay.
Philip thinks he's useful.
Right, but he isn't. He's just like a clerk in like the. Okay.
I've got Paul Giamatti in my head trying to talk his way through. I don't know if that's what he is, but okay. So that's the montage. You're just talking to Philip. Are you trying to keep him out?
Yeah,
No.
I'm telling Philip that, like, the Mother Superior Antoinette is completely booked up today, and as you can see, the shop is very busy.
Well, you're practicing Chinese New Year or something? Come on, I just need to see her for 5 minutes and blah blah blah.
And I'm like, please do not make a scene. Just go. I will attempt to get you on her calendar at a more conducive time. However, today is not that day.
All right, so your montage is deflecting the greater Pasadena area from coming inside on this holy day. Do you want to pass it on?
Yeah, sure. I
Okay.
mean, I kind of want to see if there's anyone attempting to infiltrate our celebration. Because I feel like with so many extra people coming in, this is a time when we have to be on alert for other, agents.
Oh, sure. Well, the way the montage works is this is your story right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to introduce that, that's you.
Okay.
Or we can wait and introduce that later, but that's definitely on the table.
I can put something on that.
Cool. Yeah.
So, Ella is trying to not be obviously stroking Abe's calf muscles and buttocks. He looks a lot about 30 years younger than her, and that wouldn't be seemingly, but he's a lot of man. She's kind of just hanging out in the back, talking to some of her friends in the community and making sure that the Karens, the Coven of Pasadena, COP, who actively think that they practice witchcraft, aren't trying to kind of come in because there's a lot going on. And these people, some of them might be sensitive and have an inkling that there's a lot going on here. And they get up to stuff to try to come in. And today will be one of those days. And so she's running interference and throwing low-key shade.
The coven of Pasadena. This is the mundane coven. It's not really
This
a
is
coven.
the mundane
You
coven.
totally plucked that idea straight out of my head, so I have to come up with something else.
Oh,
'Cause
I'm
I was,
sorry.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing.
awesome.
I was
I love
totally
it.
thinking that during this celebration that they would be there trying to be we're part of this thing that's happening.
And so in the process, she's actually selling a lot of merchandise. Because, well, that's how you could prove yourself.
Yeah. You need this $350 mini cauldron.
That's right.
It's self-heating.
You can burn incense in it.
Leave your white sage go away.
She also has a few friends from the community who come in and greet her. And so it's interesting because most of the people are here to celebrate and or wait for their turn to see Antoinette. But she kind of has her own thing going on. And it's probably not a stretch of imagination to know that she's making a couple bucks today with her little side thing.
And
Bucks.
yeah. All right. Effie.
Effie's on the phone in the back room, and you can hear every word she's saying, and she's shouting at the Port Authority, who's holding a shipment until some custom fee is being paid. And it's been shipped over from Europe, and we've got a batch of cool stuff that we want to go through, but we can't get to it because until we pay whatever bizarre fees, they always seem to just add on to it. And there's a lot of sort of swearing in Gaelic, and then you hear the phone get slammed down. It's just one of those horrible. And she stalks out, goes over to the refreshment table, and gets something that isn't punch. Or
But
is
has-
punch and pours some whiskey from her flask into it, muttering Gaelic curses under her breath and glaring around the party.
The life of the party, as it
Right.
were. Yeah.
Not goofy.
No,
Just
no.
Yeah, cool.
Thinking.
Coven of Pasadena.
COP.
You're down with the POC.
Yeah, because I was definitely thinking about that. I think I might actually be having a very serious discussion with Angelica because she hasn't fed in a little bit.
Oh.
I'm kind of upset that she's let it go this long.
What's a little bit?
Like a couple of days, which is still a couple of days too long, especially because she's still a relatively young vampire, so she needs to feed a little bit more often, and there's a better chance of her losing control.
So, what are the signs that she might be losing control? Or she might.
She starts to get her eyes look a little more bloodshot, and she looks a lot more sort of sallow and sunken in. She looks like she's ill. And that's usually a pretty bad sign. And she's still getting used to feeding off of people. She's doesn't need to kill people to have enough, but she's kind of shy, and so it's very hard for her to go out and like interact with people enough to be like, I'm gonna nom on them a little bit. And I think like in the past she that Jaina has tried to like, all right, here you go, like, but it's just like the witch blood is just, it's different, and it's not quite as compatible, and it just makes her a little bit more, she doesn't like how she feels afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Like it's
Like, is it a lactose intolerant thing, or is it like a I feel angry now kind of?
I think it's just that it's like overwhelming.
Oh.
So it's sort of like that stimulus overload because of the magic that is inherent in witch blood. And she just kind of shuts down for a couple of days if she does have, if she feeds off of a witch, because she's just, it's like having a sensory overload, like anxiety attack.
Okay. So you're trying to convince her to go and... does she, or is she just steadfast? I'm not going to. I'll be fine.
I think that she's trying to push back against it. We're at a party. We should be, we're doing our job, guarding the, yada yada. And I think that Jaina is actively like, the COP is here. That right there, that's like prime target. They're going to be super excited and be like, "Ooh, a vampire! Yeah, let's play. Let's do the thing." Like they're going to be an easy meal.
I have a question for the room. Do we know she's a vampire?
I think you guys would know that
Okay.
she is at this point because she frequents around enough, and I don't think that Jaina would have made it a secret.
Okay.
Because you guys know that she
It completely changes how I want to interact with her if I know.
talks with vampires and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right, so that's a montage scene. Based on what you said, I've identified a couple of conflicts. You can put those under the camera so they can see that. COP is a conflict. Angelica's hungry is a conflict. I'll be throwing more conflicts on as iteratively we go through the story. You cannot make a move unless you're confronting a conflict. So if the conflict's not in play, then we have to negotiate a bit. I'm going to give you your first round of currency here.
Ooh.
These are charms. Actually, I think I gave you a Chuck E. Cheese one. Do you want a better one?
I'll take the Chuck E. Cheese.
That seems appropriate.
Always.
Ooh, this one's neat.
So these are charms. You use these to spend when you want to take narrative control from me. In a montage, you have total narrative control. You also will have narrative control if you roll high enough on your dice. But if you just want to take it, you can spend. The other thing you can do with it is change your aspect. So we're going to start the scene, and you tell me as we start the game what your current aspect is. Mother, Maiden, Crone.
Does that apply to me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can choose. Now, you can use magic to change it. But you are, by default, a particular aspect right now.
I just meant, because that's my power set, do I have to spend a coin every time I want to change my aspect?
No, now you're doing a move, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you, Minerva.
Minerva!
And Element.
Elements.
Yeah.
Yeah, for just keeping us going.
That's so great. What are we at now?
We have broken the $4,000 mark.
Oh, yeah! Thank y'all so much.
Wouldn't it be cool if we broke the 10,000 thing with this game?
Yeah, and I would take all of the credit. No, I won't take any of the credit.
No, for real. Tell your friends.
Spread the word. We're playing witches. Okay. And vampires, apparently. All right, so so don't worry about the game mechanics too much. We'll just use them as we need them. I don't want to weigh you down with all that. So
Sure.
Just play the game. So we're going to go now into another type of scene that is called a meeting. And this is actually going to be a meeting because we're opening the scene with the Mother Superior in the back office taking a meeting. She is meeting with one of the leaders of the Coven of the Five, which is not a very original name, but there are 5 of them. And they are also a Storm Coven.
Okay.
It hasn't been a problem to date, and the 2 covens have worked together on various things. It's a little weird that they're here, though, and they called a meeting knowing that she would take it. So that's where we are. The gatekeepers are in the room because you didn't have to be told. I mean, this is another coven coming in, so we need to be here in case something goes wrong. You're always called into these meetings, and she decided at this point just to bring in the whole coven because something's going down. Why are they meeting with us? She didn't really have an opportunity for a pre-meeting with you all. It was just that you saw, oh, that's one of that coven. Okay. Yellow flag, and so she brought everybody into the room. So when she brought everybody into the room, the one of the coven, his name is Obadiah, and he looks and dresses like Snape. Like he's really overboard on this whole brand he's going for, and everybody knows who he is. And he might be, a somewhat powerful, well-seasoned witch, but come on. And he's there. He's the one that they sent to talk to her. When she sees him come in, the Mother Superior just leaves the room. She goes into the back, which is a washroom, closes the door. She looks at you, and then closes the door behind her. And she's gotten this look. She's given you this look before. That look means I'm not dealing with this. You do it.
Okay.
And she left. So here's Obadiah just kind of standing there. Like he was mid-sentence. He was like, "It was really good to see you, Mother Superior." And then she closes the door.
Obadiah, baby, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Ella, thank you. I was here to speak to Antoinette. Is she there?
She is not available right now. How can I help you? Oh, I love that the cut of that jacket. That is so lovely.
Very well. I see.
The chair wasn't a rocking chair, but now it rocks.
I see that I have been relegated to speak with you, and I suppose the children.
Let's not be rude. You came for business. What's your business?
Well, fine. We want to make an attack on the mundanes. There, I said it.
Which mundanes? All of them?
No, not all of them. Okay. The city of Pasadena has enacted an ordinance that just took shape this year that will take all of the money that we are making in our trade on the ports and send that money directly to their pockets. We lose out, and so we are going to go and attack the ports.
Why don't we just change their minds?
Not that simple. Are you going to change the minds of, what, how many people are in the city council of Pasadena? Anyone know?
16.
We're going to change the mind of 16 people?
Is that too hard for you, Obadiah?
That's not how we work. Anyway, I don't need your blessing, but I came here for your blessing.
Your plan is so well thought out and specific.
Yeah, the details are riveting.
I'm not going to give you the details. Why bother if you're not going to give me the blessing?
How are we supposed to give you the blessing without having any...
This is why I wanted to talk to Antoinette.
It seems silly to have to go so far to try to not have what you have taken by people who don't even have power. Why don't you just change their minds?
We need to make a statement to all Southland cities that they can't pull this sort of stuff on us. You know that this is coming from Long Beach. We have the entire city, however many cities are in the Southland, behind us. What are we supposed to do? We have to show them that Pasadena will not stand up for this, and we have to make it a big public display of power, and we have to make it look terrifying. I'm not going to go and play politics. I'm sorry, but I'm not that kind of witch. You don't have to help.
The forces of Father God are trying to snuff us out at every turn. They're trying to kill us. And we should stand against them. Mundanes are silly. And honestly, you can go around killing whoever you want, but you're going to work real hard if every time they change their mind, you have to go kill another one.
You don't think the forces of Father God are behind this?
Absolutely not. It's a tax.
Well, I see where you stand, and I suppose you're speaking for the coven.
Why don't you give us a week? We'll take care of it. And you will owe us a favor.
I'm not trading favors. Have a good day.
Okay, then you shall suffer the consequences if things get out of hand, Obadiah.
I don't have to answer to you.
You don't, but you may.
Okay, what do you want out of this?
I want a favor. This doesn't seem hard. I mean, does this seem hard? I'm sorry.
So, you want a favor. That means we're going to do our first move. You want a favor through intimidation, right?
Yep.
So, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can enforce your will, which is a severity roll.
Okay.
And that's just an outright, I'm going to intimidate you into giving me your word that we have a favor. Or you can do it another way if you want to use a different stat. So this is how this game works. It's not that you're rolling for whether or not you get a favor. You're rolling for how.
Right.
And we have to figure out the conflict here. Conflicts on the table right now are the COP and Angelica's hungry, so we don't really have an applicable conflict. And that's because I sprung one on you.
Mm-hmm.
So The way this works is I can just go ahead and put a conflict down on the table, and that means that whether or not you succeed in the roll, I have narrative control. That means we can get pretty dark pretty quick and more interesting. Or you can spend a plot. Sorry, wrong game. You can spend a charm, and then you put down the conflict. And you characterize the conflict however you want, and then you get narrative control if you win. So those are the basics of the game. So how do you want to do it? Do you want me to put down the conflict?
I will spend a charm to put down a conflict. Would one of you rally with me to assist my roll?
Sure.
Is that how this works?
Well, you can use rally as a different move. That means you're saying, okay, we will all kick your ass.
Intimidation is definitely a good thing for Jaina, by way of rolls.
Okay.
But I can work with you.
But that changes the roll to mercy if you do it that way. That means that we are all in this together to fight the Father God, not your stupid agenda.
Right.
So that's a mercy roll. So do you want to do that instead?
Let's rally. Yeah.
Okay. So you get to you're paying the plot point. So this conflict is yours. You get to characterize it however you want. Just to give you an insight on what this looks like under the hood, if I had done it, I would have said they're going to war with you.
Right.
And this is their line. But that was my harsh thing. But you can do whatever you want.
That seems silly.
Pen? Marker?
Marker.
Thank you. That's all.
So this is. So the 5. So the challenge is the 5 wants to kill the Pasadena.
They
City
want to do a
Council.
terrorist attack in Long Beach because of some tax.
In Long Beach or in Pasadena?
In Long Beach. Because of some tax.
Oh, they want to do it in Long
Pasadena's
Beach.
putting in it. Yeah, Pasadena put in some weird tax.
Okay.
It was actually because I realized Pasadena doesn't have a port and I had to change it midstream. That we don't know that. Some weird political thing going on between Long Beach and Pasadena. Weird. So what conflict did you put down?
The 5 want to attack Long Beach.
Oh. Okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah. That works. It's not as evil as mine would have been, but okay. Did you already pay me?
That's because I paid you.
Okay, cool.
It also is funny because it then directly he came to get our blessing to fuck with to mess with our business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that might ultimately mess with your business. But, his point is that, well, you're paying this extra weird surcharge from the port, and we're going to stop them. So, go ahead and roll your mercy.
Okay, 3d6?
Mm-hmm.
2d6?
With two, actually, we are,
1d6?
2d6. 2d6.
Okay, and I'm rolling, is it 7 to 12?
Yeah, that's the success. Although, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Oh,
so you want to do 7 to 9 is a good one.
Got it.
Yeah, it's just like PBTA.
Got it, I see. So I have a +1, and I roll a 7, so that's an 8.
Those dice are rad.
I don't know how you can read them.
They have dots.
Also,
Okay.
it's the kanji for the numbers.
All right, so I'm going to give you a charm back because you succeeded.
Okay.
You've resolved that conflict. Go ahead and tap it. We don't know if it's going to leave the table or not, but at least for this chapter, it's not going to come up again.
Yes.
The conflict
Oh.
is resolved.
So I will make them all like this.
Yeah, or flip it over or something. Okay. So you have rallied everybody basically and said, well, what does this look like? So he was basically using the force of the coven to say, we have a higher purpose. Our goal is, as you said, threats from the Father God, not stupid municipal politics.
Right.
So what does that look like? How did you guys rally behind that?
I just repeated what I said, and he heard it different that time.
But the three of you were rallied along with this. What does that look like?
Well, we do have some things that we need to get out of the port as it is. And the tax does add up over time. I'm wondering if it's that Long Beach coven that's behind this.
Shifting blame.
or they know full well that we have items that come in once a week, and they're responsible for this tax just to twist the knife.
I agree there are better ways to handle it than an attack at this time, too. I think that there's ways that could benefit us in a much longer term as well.
Yeah, I'm not finding murder over a tax. That seems a bit extreme, even for me.
I mean, it's the extremity of it, but it's such a waste of time. But when you could get to the root of it, as Effie has said, why treat the symptom when you could treat the cause?
And put the right people in your pocket while you do it.
And so if you can't handle this and we handle it for you, you owe us. Because we're better witches.
We're going to do what we're going to do. And of course, we will help you if you need our help with something. But you are sheltered if you believe this is stupid municipal politics. They want to shut down that port, and there needs to be a drastic imposition of our will to make sure that they don't take control of all of the things coming in. We have some very important artifacts on the way that are going to come as soon as the Chinese New Year is over. And what? We're going to have to pay a premium. Just like you, we're going to lose our money. This isn't about politics. The Father God's agents are everywhere.
So you're going to run the port? You're going to hire staff?
Doesn't
you're
matter.
gonna maintain and pay the union dues?
None of that matters. Call on us with your favor if you must.
Give us a week. We'll
And he
take
does.
care of it.
He does this twirl and does like his cape, his Snape cape goes fluttering back dramatically, and his unwashed hair kind of falls back into place, and he leaves.
I love when he does that. I say that loud enough for him to hear.
He's way too into his role, but he is a prominent member of that coven. So there is that.
He came alone?
Yeah.
Got it.
Outside of the room, you can see the mini Pasadena Coven kids getting into all kinds of stuff.
The COP?
Yeah, they're looking up things. They're taking the free, because you said you have free brews out right now,
There
right?
is seed free booze.
Yeah, so they're drinking too much,
Yep.
and so it's a little bit of a calamity going on out there. That's happening.
So we should get their husbands to come pick them up.
Antoinette is still in the washroom. What do you want to do?
I think my focus, like, we have this bigger problem, but it's going to take some time to solve. I think for Jaina, her main focus right now is Angelica and making sure that that's taken care of. And so long as this coven is drinking, that seems like a really extra good opportunity for us to bond over a drink. So I want to go talk to Angelica.
Are we done now? Can I go home?
When was the last time that we had an actual drink together? Yeah, here.
Method acting. I don't know. Last week?
I think that it's time for you to have a drink again. And there are prime candidates right over there.
They're just kids. I don't want to.
I'm not
I don't
saying
want to hurt anybody.
You're not going to. It's going to be fine. You've done this before. This is not the first time. You knew what you were getting into. We discussed this. Let me buy a girl a drink. I'm gonna grab a brew, and I'll grab a drink for you.
Okay, so you're trying to navigate others, which is the wisdom roll. The conflict is obviously Angelica's hungry. So you don't have to worry about currency at this point. You just roll and see what happens.
Okay, and so I am in mother
Yeah,
mode right now.
If you're in
so
mother,
I get
that
a
means
plus.
you get another plus. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a 6, 7, 8.
Okay. right, so that's resolved for now, and that's because she's like, okay, fine, I'll take a drink. That also means then you get another charm.
Ooh, lovely.
So she goes along with you reluctantly, and insists that you stay with her.
Oh, of course. And I'm gonna like find somebody who seems like an easy target and like sling an arm around them, somebody who looks like super inebriated, and kind of like lead them along and kind of let them lean against me while Angelica like subtly feeds from them in like the back area behind. Like there's one of those privacy screens, like an antique one that's on the sale floor. So we're gonna kind of sneak behind that.
Yeah, and the person you grab is like, probably some young college student.
Yeah.
And has been drinking already. I mean, in fact, she probably has in her hands some extremely expensive antique. Let's say it's like a stork. What's that called? The type of armor that goes on your shoulder.
A pauldron?
Yeah.
Mac would know more than I.
She has one of those in her hands, and it's like, probably from the English Civil War or something. And she just and completely goes along with it. But as you bring them back behind the screen, you notice that a couple of these coven members have grabbed some books and are leaving the store.
I'm gonna step directly into the path, from the office, into that aisle.
That's right, books.
That leads to
That's your wheelhouse right there, books.
That leads there. It's like, ladies, I see you have an interest, and these are very, very interesting tomes indeed.
I just needed to see him in better light. We were just going to take it outside and look at the inscription.
I would hate for you to ignorantly damage such a priceless artifact of power and wisdom.
And by the way, these are like what some Puritan wrote about witchcraft in 1711. There's a bunch of bullshit, but they're old and worth a lot. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, can we just look at them?
Let me lead you to the case, and I will step them back towards, I have an actual, a plinth, white gloves, the whole nine, to showcase some of the volumes, and I'm really gonna play up, the age and the, mysticism of these books.
Okay, so you bring them around, and there's an old mirror, and among all of the other things, as you bring them around, you notice that one of them has a kind of small goblin-like creature fastened on their shoulder, just grinning, big toothy grin, and a twitchy tail. You can see in the mirror, but obviously not on the student. And she kind of like she has some back pain as she's walking, and she's like, I wasn't going to take them. I just wanted to see them in the light. I'm sorry.
Of course not, dear. I know how it is. Hand down cheek along the same side as the goblin is on.
Okay, you can feel some fuzziness from that.
And I'm going to see if I am going to... do I know anything about, goblins? Do I know anything about what this creature might... what they're... outside of, a causing trouble agenda, who they... are goblins tend to be... Do they tend to be agents of the Father God, or,
Yeah, this is probably a fey creature that is sent on an errand. But you don't really know who would be in charge of this or what the reason would be. You would have to ask the creature.
Yes, which is what I would like to do. And I I would like to. I want to distract the student, like with the book.
Okay.
Like, set her up. It's like, okay, here are the gloves. Here's the
Like
thing.
lots
now,
of glyphs and stuff in it.
yeah, like be and really study each page and see, like, so that I can then commune with the goblin.
Okay. Is there a spell you want to use for that kind of magic, or is this just something you're going to try to do?
So I can. I have divination, but it is a commune with the dead. So
Now you can do divination that you don't have a specialty in,
Okay.
but that just means you are getting you're only going to get the lowest of 2 or 3. I'm sorry, you do it in a disadvantage roll.
Disadvantage. Okay, I will.
You get to describe what that looks like. It also the length of time that you put into it will determine how long the spell lasts. So if it's just something you're going to sit down and do right now, it'll last temporarily.
And that's fine. I'm going to. I probably should have said this earlier. So, like, that divination is mother magic. I am in my mother form.
Yeah. All right. Great. That means then. So there's a lot of things at play. It's going to be a straight roll because you are your mother aspect. It is mother magic. However, it's a new moon, and it's a divination you're not very comfortable with. So all of that means just a normal roll.
Fantastic.
So that's a 2d6 plus your wisdom.
Great. So what I'm going to try to do is, like, so I've distracted the college student, but as I, like, every time I like touch her or anything, I'm going to use that as a means to draw, like, a little glyph on her hand, like as I affectionately touch her cheek, there's another one there, and it's like hand, ear, mouth, eye.
That's
eye.
the ritual. Yeah. And how do you talk to the creature through the mirror or through? I mean, are you scrying? How does it? Or is it in your mind?
I am going to communicate with the creature through the mirror.
Okay. All right. Great. Let's see how that goes. This is our first magic.
Yay!
Yeah.
Do a magic about it.
And that is that's a 9 on the dice.
Oh, okay. And you have a wisdom bonus?
And then I have +2 to my wisdom, +1 when in mother. So that's a 12.
Well, now, this means you have complete, total narrative control. So you get to decide who sent this creature
Okay.
and how they react to you.
I am going to say that the creature was sent by the Long Beach Coven.
Now, is this like the Pasadena Coven, or is this an actual coven?
This is an actual coven. Like, when we were talking to Obadiah about the coven in Long Beach
Right.
that was controlling the ports and, like, trying to, like, stick the screws in, I think this is another power play.
Okay.
Like, they came in, they were trying to, the goblin was sent by the Long Beach Coven is such a, like, shitty name.
It's literally LBC.
Yeah.
Like the
You probably know our antithesis is the Seven Sisters.
but like the just want a better name.
Other than
We're
the
the
Long Beach
Storm
Coven.
Coven. Maybe they were trying to, like, get in on our thing, and they're like the Lightning Coven or something.
Yes,
I like
it.
Maybe they're attached to the Queen Mary. The Sisters of the Queen Mary.
Yes. Okay. Cool. That's awesome.
I
Thank
like
you.
that.
The Sisters of the Queen Mary sent this goblin because originally he was following Obadiah to see what Obadiah was up to, and if he could get our blessing for the attack on the Mundanes in Long Beach, to cover their machinations against both the Coven of the Five and us, because they have a grudge against the Storm, because they feel like we're bad for business, so they want to make our business suffer.
And you've derived us based on what the goblin told you. The goblin says, "Okay, I told you everything. What do you need to know now? Can I go?"
You should go back to whence you came across the veil. And if I ever catch
Ears go
hide
down.
or hair or scent of you in our space again, I shall not be so lenient.
And then
And like I just blow.
it's like rainbow smoke disappears. The goblin's gone, and the college students are like, "Oh, feels better. What does this glyph mean?" You know. Okay, so there's some machinations going on. Do you fill in the others? Eventually, the party's going to end. Antoinette is still in the bathroom. Anything else going on during that time? The party kind of leaves. Anything else that you want to do?
Did you have your spotlight yet?
It's fine. I think what I'm going to do is just make sure that we monitor the drinks from the rest of this party, make sure they don't get out of hand, and keep an eye on them so that they're not just pocketing stuff or breaking things. Someplace listening vase. Put that down.
We are a casualty facility.
Then I want to talk to your friend, the city clerk.
Oh yeah, Philip. He has. Didn't you send him away?
Yes.
He's not there, but you could go to his office.
You know what? He could still be hanging around like outside, just trying to like keep out of my.
Yeah, maybe he's
sight.
at the Starbucks across the street. Kind of waiting for a way to get in. I've actually got that prop.
He's in the pawn shop side.
So, I think he might know why this was passed, and who's urging, like who's politically driving this. I have a divination thing that allows me to know his deepest, darkest, innermost. I don't know if all that's necessary, or
Yeah.
Clean?
So you'll describe how you cast the spell, how it works. This is different for every witch.
got it.
And if it's just something you're going to do off the cuff like this, then it's a very temporary kind of shallow effect.
Got it.
But beyond that, I mean, yeah, it's just a roll. See how it happens. That is a wisdom roll.
Right.
And what aspect are you in?
Crone.
Okay, so it's just a flat wisdom roll.
Okay.
But it's magic on a new moon, so you do get a disadvantage.
So that's a -1?
Yeah, so you roll 3 die and pick the lowest 2.
Got it. I see. All right.
You're not really supposed to be practicing magic on the new moon,
Right.
for the record.
Oops.
So,
So it's not enough energy, it's kind of hard. You're like squeezing the last bit of toothpaste out, and
Hey, that last bit of toothpaste is valid.
It
does clean the teeth.
It
yeah.
works just as well as the first bit.
so I go to Starbucks
Uh-huh.
and I order a hot chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
and I feign kind of needing some assistance in his general direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's acting like he's playing solitaire on his phone, but you see he just opened the app.
Is he watching me?
Well, he's trying to act like he doesn't see you there, but it's obvious he knows you're there. And it was like, oh, quick conversion. Oh, I'm playing solitaire.
So I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry, but can it be that he's like playing Words with Friends, except he doesn't have an opponent? Does he do that?
Yes, I like that better. You don't have to pay for that one.
And he's your NPC, so tell me how it goes.
He's acting like he's playing Words with Friends.
So, does this play into any of these?
If you end up making a move that requires a roll, that triggers if you say something that triggers a move, I'll let you know. But at this point, like she had, for example, just an example, she was kind of manipulating these college students, but they had, there was no, you didn't have to roll to do that. Obviously, as something within your purview. So I'll only make you roll if you have to.
So,
but you were going to do divination.
I was going to.
Oh, right. So for magic, don't worry about the conflicts. Just roll.
Okay. So I want him to have to help me.
Mm-hmm.
So when he touches me, I'm going to divine from him.
Okay. Well, let's roll it.
And take out the biggest one?
You roll 3 die,
Uh-huh.
and then pick the smallest 2. The lowest 2.
So that's going to be a 6. 6.
Plus your wisdom?
Yeah. 6.
Oh, 6 total. Okay.
6 total. So I fail.
All right, so you come in and you touch him, and there's just sort of like he freaks out. He just drops his phone and his coffee and just.
Did you shock me? It's not so windy. I don't know why this static is happening.
I guess I did.
I kind of rubbed my arm where we touched.
It feels really cold. You have a feeling that it kind of like worked the other way.
Oh.
And I've got to go. And he just walks out of the restaurant without his phone, without acknowledging that he spilled coffee all over the place.
Well, I pick it up and I say, I don't say it loud enough for him to hear, just loud enough to make a scene, and I just make sure it doesn't lock.
And you can, as a spider grandmother, you sort of have an in-tune connection with the flows of energy around in general. And you can see that there's a sort of wispy connection between you and him, kind of irradiating. And it's slowly dissipating. But he's looking at you like he knows everything.
Everything?
I've got to go. Now that I've got to go. And he's going to try to leave.
Okay.
There's a barista like cussing.
Because he's just spilled the coffee?
Yeah. Grabbing a rag.
Then I think I should probably try to stop him.
Meanwhile.
Back at the rain.
As we switch scenes just a little bit here, I just want to say that we are 8 minutes until the end of our first block.
And
So
how long is
we
the block?
wanna,
2
like,
hours.
it's 2 hours.
Okay.
So, like, there's a prize for the top donation in the first 2 hours, and there's a prize for the top donation in the second 2 hours. So, Mo, do you want to, like, tell the people how it's going?
Well, first of all, we have to thank Michael again.
Wow.
Is just in there.
Wow, thank you.
Like swimwear, is that appropriate? And totally supporting us and
Thank you,
encouraging
Michael. That's
us
awesome.
and keeping us going.
He really wants those dice.
Yeah.
So is it
This isn't the dice.
is it accumulated
Yes.
most? Okay. So I think we are moments away from Michael taking it. So the real question is, who really, really, really wants this bundle of 12 amazing games?
I know at least 3 of the games that are in that bundle.
I mean, and if you want to come in and, like, Michael's been slowly building and building his
Cachet.
If you
his
like,
dragon horde.
if you like how this game is running, this is built on the chassis of Great American Novel, so that's in that package.
Yas. Do the thing.
Okay.
So yeah, if you really love that, you've got about 7 minutes now
It's going to turn into a bidding war.
to sneak in there and get it.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, like, let Michael take this awesome game bundle, but you really care more about pumpkin spice dice.
Michael right now is like, shut up, Pooja, shut up!
And if you're Michael and you want to hedge your place, you
Yeah.
keep going, keep going, man, and you'll be able to widen the margin.
And if you're just tuning in and you don't know what we're talking about, we're raising money for the Rainbow Railroad, a charity that helps lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals escape violence, persecution in their home countries. Last year we raised over $6,000, and this year our goal is $10,000. That is about what it takes to get one person to safety.
10,000.
The donation page will be up for a month, with all donations eligible for the big prize of a year-long Dice Envy subscription. In addition to each game has its own set of amazing prizes to give out, of which Michael is in the lead of, and to the wonderful, amazing people who donate during our live event. Thank you, everyone, for watching, supporting, and donating. Don't forget to spread the word if you can't donate, like Pooja said, because that gets us to our goal also.
Thank you, everybody. Do the thing.
Or help someone else do the thing.
And I think currently our total is in the just above $4,000.
Just about $4,000.
Which is amazing.
It is incredible.
Is that more than we did? Oh no, 6,000 is what we
We
did
did
last
like
year.
60, almost $6,700, I think, last year, or right around there. So
And we're in for 10, and we've got 2 more games after this to do. One more game.
I think it's one more.
Yeah.
So we're running out of time. We got basically another 6 hours.
Or as they say in Chicago, give early and give often.
Yeah.
That's what Michael's doing.
okay. Well, sorry.
Okay, so one witch has bestowed the truth about what's going on in the world onto this poor bureaucrat from Pasadena. Inside, we have a superior who has just, I'm not dealing with this, and went to the bathroom for several hours. We also have a vampire that is feeding on a college student who's in a coven. And we have a goblin that has been dispatched back to the Feywild, or to the fairy. Wrong universe. The fairy. Sorry, Wizards of the Coast. Anyway, so now we are back in the bookstore. The antique store that has books. And what's going on?
Well, I helped Angelica get this college student to an Uber so that she didn't feel so guilty afterwards. We sent her in an Uber home.
Doesn't like the Uber CEO, so goes with Lyft.
Okay.
But yes.
That is A-okay. Whatever she wants.
She's feeling much better now. Is there a problem with overfeeding? Or has your experience with Angelica, does she know when to...
She seems to know when to stop. I mean, she's been a vampire for a while now, but she's just reticent about doing it, and sometimes actually doesn't feed enough.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the vampire is okay. I think what was his name? Abe. Abe is still there.
Yep.
What are you doing?
But has the Coven of Pasadena left?
They're stragglers, but yes, generally most of them have left.
If they're leaving on their own, then I won't do what I was thinking of doing.
Well, there are stragglers.
Well,
you know,
okay.
and they are there. So
in my, let's see, which one is it? In my Crone, is it Crone? Yes, since I'm in Crone form, Black Tara has the ability to take complete control of any witch or any non-witch or their organization, and will be obeyed without question.
Yes, she does have that power.
So I think it's time for them to leave now.
Yes.
We have things that we need to do.
What does it look like when you cast that spell? How do you prepare?
All
for how to
right,
cast
party's over. That's it. I'm going to ring a bell. Ding, 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 ding. All right, that party's over. The bar is closed. You all have places to leave, to go. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
And you're in Crone now already, right?
Yes.
So that's a severity roll.
Yes.
Since it's the new moon, it's a disadvantage.
So
Actually,
what does all that mean?
I should say woe. It is woe, which means you roll
Whoa.
3 die and choose the 2 lowest.
Now, I have a +1 because I'm in Crone,
Yeah,
right?
right.
You worked that out already? All right. I'm rolling dice. You tell me what I do.
All right. So take the 2 lowest.
That's
which
2
looks like
threes.
6 plus your severity, plus your Crone.
So 7.
Okay. All right. So they definitely leave. Here's the caveat: they leave in terror. It's just that your presence is a bit
Yeah,
much.
I get it. That's
It's sort
going
of
to
like,
happen.
I don't know what it looks like if you get that kind of under light and then the wind blasting your hair.
Very Galadriel from
Yeah,
from Lord of the Rings.
that was in my head, and
Yeah,
they're like,
me too.
ah! And they've left, and the trace of the command is fresh on their mind. Now you can command them to do whatever you want. Is that all you want them to do?
Buy things. things.
yeah, whatever they're holding. Yes, and don't forget to pay for what you're handling. Good call.
They are college kids, so you get like a good $60 off of that.
Reprints of the Malice Maleficarum.
I mean, that's a group of Karens. At least a couple of them have to have their parents' credit cards in there.
Right.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, that's totally right.
Do you want to? You control them.
Oh,
You can control the entire organization.
Well,
for a moment.
I could also do that in Long Beach, which is where we're going to go with this.
Yeah.
Which is what I want to talk about, which is why I need the store empty. So they're going to pay for whatever it is they're handling right now, and then they're just going to go, and I can deal with the Karens again at a later date. They're not going anywhere.
All right, so let's say you got like $300 off of all that.
That's fine.
All right, so meanwhile, Philip is trying to leave. Is leaving, unless you stop him.
So, do I know what he knows now?
You know that you can guess
Okay.
that this is backfired, and now he has. You don't think? I mean, it was just a really quick spell. It's not like you did a major ritual over the course of 2 hours. So you probably just got like a very shallow flash in the pan glimpse of who you are, really, and that scared the shit out of him.
As you know, I am here trying to help some people. Some people you know.
I don't want to have anything to do with this. I didn't know. I'm just going to leave you all alone.
I need for you to relax and help me help them.
I can't relax. I don't know if I can ever relax again, frankly. I have 2 kids. A lovely daughter. She plays drums in a rock band, and I've got to go home to them now. So I'll see you later.
Philip,
And
I'm not getting in the way of that.
thank you.
Am I seeing this?
He's talking to Philip in the street, very obviously, in a tense situation, but you can't hear what they're saying. That's true for all of you, because it's a big, I imagine it's like a big glass pane.
Well, we were. I was just outside getting a.
Oh, yeah,
kid
you're waiting for the
into
lift.
The lift, so
Yeah.
I'm observing this happening.
Philip is very agitated.
I think I want to befriend him.
Okay. To calm him down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, we're in a situation now where we don't have a conflict on the table, so...
Again, I have to
Again.
spend a coin.
Truthfully, you already kind of created this conflict through a bad roll.
Right.
But I can make it
I
worse.
Don't need this.
Or, if you want to pay, your charm, it doesn't have to be. Think what's good for the story, not what's good for the character.
I think Michael is all in to win because he just won't stop. Yay, Michael! Doing it for a good cause.
I think Michael
Which
should decide
actually-
what the conflict is.
It's right now.
It is that time.
All right.
Gotta put a pause on this and
And tell the good man what he's won.
I don't have a list of what he won. Michael, I think I can say for sure you are the winner of a bundle of 12 amazing game downloads from indie creators in the gaming community.
yay!
One of which is sitting right here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank
you, Michael.
And thank you everyone who's been donating. Once again, every little bit's appreciated. And if you can't at this time donate money, there's still another month if you will be in a better place later, or if you can just spread the word. Once again, it'll be open for a month, and this is a really, really fantastic cause, and they deserve our support.
Michael,
Definitely.
Minerva, Element, Chris, Rob, and Sean, thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you,
this
guys.
last couple hours. Oh, and you too, Kimmy.
Hi, Kimmy. I'm going to do the Nicole Kidman clap so I don't make too much noise.
So,
Is that a thing? Okay. I
Nancy
may have to go
Pelosi.
look that up. The slow clap. Yeah, as the artist called the jazz funk.
Yeah.
Beatnik.
So you are going to roll Befriend.
I
And
can,
we're deciding whether or not you want me to make a
I can
conflict?
give you a coin to just succeed, can't
Yeah,
I?
absolutely. And then you have narrative control and you tell me what happens.
So I'm going to.
You don't want me to write...
I don't want you to write anything down.
Okay. I was just confused.
I have all of these cards.
I know.
I know.
so
You
many.
should take most of them home. And so, Michael, you guys see Michael.
Philip.
I'm sorry, you see Philip. Michael. good job.
Sorry.
You see,
Michael might be freaked out too. I don't know.
Right?
But
He's just now entered the game.
you see Philip slowly backing away from me into the intersection, and then he just stops. And as I explained to him that, there are things that are important, and there are people who could be hurt, and he's in a position to help them now. I then cross the street, and he starts to follow me, and we go into the store, and I think we go into the back room.
okay, so where
And
Antoinette is?
I let him know that there are people who might get hurt if I don't find out what exactly is going on with this tax that Pasadena's passed. And I want to help them. And he knows I want to help them.
But he's scared, but he understands that you don't have malicious motivations. So are you going in the back room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you see Antoinette in there.
Mm-hmm.
There is it's a washroom. It's not really a bathroom. There's a bathroom attached to it.
I'm sorry, into the office, not
Oh,
the
the
washroom.
office. Oh, okay.
So before the...
All right. So you're in the office.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
was going to actually go into the...
Oh, you
I was
wanna
going
go?
to follow... Like, I mean, she's been back there a long time before, but this seems excessive even for her.
Okay. The lift comes. And Angelica gets into the car, and she kind of looks up. She says, "There's
Oh, is
something."
she going with the girl?
Oh, no.
Because we were actually sending the college
You're
girl.
sending the college girl. Okay, well, she helps her in, but then she kind of looks up. She's like, "There's something wrong." My senses are heightened.
Like slams car door and like bam bam to like get the lift to go away so we can talk in private, and like when you've had my blood.
No. It wasn't the feeding. I'm feeling better, so I'm sensing things now, and there's something wrong. Have you checked on Antoinette?
No.
When you open the door, Antoinette is sitting next to the sink, slumped over. She has bled out through her eyes and her ears, and her skin is plastered tight onto her muscles or tissue. She's been drained of blood. And even without magic, you can see her spirit is attached to the corpse, writhing in agony. It looks like she's been dead for decades.
What the...
Good time to come back in with Angelica, I think.
Mhm.
And fuck.
Okay.
I didn't do this one. Just in case
So
anyone was
It
wondering.
does look Lilithy. Yeah.
So I'm cleaning up the alcohol and stuff, and I hear that, and I go to the back.
And they're all kind of crowded in the office.
So is Antoinette's body, like, it's decayed? Then?
Yeah.
I've
It's
got
like
this.
mummified?
I've
Yeah,
got this.
it's more mummified is a better word for it. Like,
Oh.
it looks like she's been mummified.
I think I've got this. Let me ask the game master here if this will work.
Yeah, because if not, I have.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've got this.
Take heal a subject or reconstruct something that was destroyed.
If you put enough of a ritual into it, it's possible. It's going to take work, though, and
Okay.
time.
Can we...
Something like that's going to take a good week of ritual work.
What was your idea?
So we can still see sort of that her spirit is?
She can, because she's a Kadi.
Oh.
Now, you can see a disruption of spiritual energy, but you can't really tell what's going on from where you are in the office, although you know something's up because everybody's crowded around the door. And Philip is standing up slowly. What's going on? The scent of death is coming out.
Philip, I think I need you to go home.
You don't have to tell me twice. And he leaves. Out.
Do we know, like, you know, in character, do we know that, like, about spirits and things that hang
Oh, yeah.
around?
Sure.
Because I do have divination, where I have speak freely within the minds of any witch and see, feel, touch, hear as they do. So
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if I can, like,
That could
what's
translate.
left of her essence. To swap to maiden magic, I would give you a coin.
And this is a moment in the story where you would make a switch like that, because suddenly, like, oh, I'm out of my... What are you now? Your mother?
Mother.
Yeah, you're out. Now you need to step back. The situation is changing your look on things. So yeah, you can do that.
Okay, there's a coin. So yeah, I'm going to swap to maiden magic and try divination.
Okay, great. It's at disadvantage because it's
So
a
we
new
roll
moon.
3 dice.
Yeah, I should say it's at woe, the correct term.
Okay. So that's going to be a 7, 8.
Plus wisdom, I think, for that one.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
gives me an 8 with the wisdom.
All right.
Because I have a +1 in my wisdom.
And he on magic you don't get the charms. That's on moves. Sorry,
That's okay.
I've been screwing that up. Anyway,
I mean, if you want to give me a coin, please do. I'm not going to fight you on it.
so it works, but that's the problem. It works.
Oh yeah, I'm sure this is going to be like, shit, this is what it feels like.
Yeah, it feels like your skin is being pulled off of your body repeatedly, like being pulled off.
Yeah.
And the pain is just excruciating. And you also are bound, like you can't move. You feel constricted. You can't breathe. And you know the only thing that you see is the looming figure of Obadiah, and he's speaking in Latin. It is sort of like a replay of what was happening earlier in that meeting room, and you capture just from her resonant memory that he was mentally casting magic while he was in there.
So Obadiah did this. Or it appears to
Yeah.
me that Obadiah did this.
And the sooner you get out of that, the better. I mean, it's a quick spell, so you can't really stay anyway. But
Yeah,
it's,
I wouldn't want to. Obadiah. Oh God, that was not doing that one again. But I think it was Obadiah. That was what she saw, was Obadiah. And
So
they-
that whole meeting was just a front to attack us.
This entire thing's been it's been a big distraction.
Well, not entirely. The Sisters of the Helm of the Queen Mary are moving against both storm covens. That's part of what the additional attacks in Long Beach.
Are you
was about.
suggesting that he's in league with the Sisters of the Mary Queen?
I think that we're
They're
just
setting us
facing an
against
attack.
ourselves.
We are facing an attack on both fronts.
Not a
But-
big fan of people that are fans of an English Queen, by the way.
So
Well, they're not a big fan of us.
There's
Clearly.
the Scottish Queen.
Mary?
Mary, Queen of Scots.
I think that's what that ship was named after. I could be wrong. It was a Scottish ship.
Yeah, but where's English subjugation of Scotland and Ireland? And we don't want to. Don't get me started.
I will add too, because the two of you have been messing with the spirit and seeing it close up. You residually, but you directly. This is broken circle magic. This is not sanctioned magic.
Okay.
So whatever they were practicing, you don't know what it was.
Okay.
So-
This is overstepping bounds. This is way out of balance here. We need to try to come back more towards center. I can set up a ritual that will help heal her, at least keep her spirit around while her body heals, but it's going to take me a bit of time. In the meantime, we need to address Long Beach. Do you think he was serious about going out and dealing with his attacks, or was it all a front just to get us separated from her?
Most likely, I would think that he is going to go do what he wants to do.
We said that we were going to take care of it. I can march down to a council meeting and have them change the law in about a matter of minutes. That's not a problem.
was I able to get any information from Philip?
No, because the roll was botched. Basically, it happened in inverse.
Even though I paid a coin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's my question. As I can go down to Long Beach and get that law changed, if that was actually a legitimate beef on his part, or was it just an excuse to come in here and derail Antoinette? If you want to call her Angelica.
We should not be moving against the mortals. If they move against the mortals, let them suffer the consequences. We need to figure out who's attacking us.
I agree.
And it would appear it's Obadiah.
I mean,
And
that's
he has
what
a
I
lot
saw.
to answer for then. And we should go straight there, except I would like to...
Well, there's one more question. I saw you looking at the mirror and doing some things. Is there something else at play here?
That's what I'm saying, that the Sisters of the Queen Mary have sent. They are moving against us. It's
how do you-
part of the tax. The goblin told me.
There's a goblin.
There was. Not anymore.
Well, that changes everything. Do we think that Obadiah might be under the influence of the Fae?
No. This Fae was in service to the Sisters of the Queen Mary.
I pick my sister up at this point.
But I would like
Gently
to...
carry her.
I would like
place
to,
we can-
before you do that, I would like to use my divination to commune
Okay.
with the dead. Because I can commune with the dead with the ability to understand what they want or need, even if they don't know it themselves, and provide guidance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Why didn't you list that in our
I,
list of accomplishments to begin with?
I attempted to.
She is the craft of Hecate, which is definitely all about the dead.
Why didn't you let us know that was... We're all new to this.
Okay. So,
Whoops.
oh,
Do you need a...
Yeah, I'm sure this has never happened before.
Nope. I'm on it. Stay there.
Thank you.
so I'm going to roll my wisdom.
Yes, and but at disadvantage at woe because
Okay.
of the moon.
You know what? I'm just going to use one of these fancy giant
Oh yeah, you can
tokens
just
I
take
have.
control and tell me what happens.
Um,
When you do this, you're now GM, so
oh, fun
all my
times.
notes don't matter.
I am going to. I'm gonna pull like Antoinette's spirit, like up into the mirror in kind of like a reverse, like it's an echo of the ritual that I used to commune with the goblin.
Hmm. Yeah.
But in like this is all about like magical places on Antoinette's body that I'm soothing so that she's not suffering with her body
Yeah.
and she's able to like be in like a sense of enough peace that she can communicate.
Okay. Yeah, it's like you're bringing her into the veil because she's tethered right now to the body, but you can kind of like
But I
we'll
don't
go into
wanna,
this
like-
room over here.
Exactly.
and,
Basically, it's like drawing her away a little bit, not giving her a path to the afterlife, but just far enough away that we're able to communicate. And I would say that so I'm looking into like a side mirror, like a vanity mirror, and I can see her over my left shoulder.
That's cool. Yeah.
And I say, my sister has seen what you've seen and felt what you felt. Obadiah has betrayed us. And he will suffer for it. But we will have to tether you, leave you tethered to your body in the meantime while we deal with the current threat before we can restore your form. And it is not our intent to have you suffer unnecessarily, but we cannot all be open and vulnerable while we are attacked on multiple fronts.
Now, how does she take that?
And you can see that, like, she's pissed at first, but then I explain, like, about the Sisters of the Queen Mary, and I say, like, we're not just looking at a petty move by the Circle of Five. This is a multi-front. We're about to enter into a war. We need to shore up our defenses.
Is she able to give you any more information?
And I think she knows, because she's been dealing with the Circle of Five for a long time.
Yeah.
So she can actually tell me where their haven is and how to get into it. Because she's been stocking up that information.
Okay. Is that the Queen Mary?
The 5 is the Obadiah one.
Oh, that's the 5. Okay.
And I think she's going to be more focused on Obadiah.
Yeah,
She
okay.
understands the Queen Mary thing, but she's like, whatever, this is a distraction. And she wants to focus on revenge and Obadiah so she can get back to her normal form.
I'm trying to push the narrative control a bit, but where is the hearth for the Circle of Five?
Did we say, what have we established about them before?
Very little.
Anything?
Very little. Just that they were another storm coven.
I am going to say that they are in, they have their haven in downtown.
Okay.
At the, there's a bar there called, 7th and Grand. That's kind of a little, yeah. Their haven is in 7th and Grand.
All right, I'll need help with that then, or
And there's I don't remember a ton about it, but it's just a swanky bar.
Yeah,
And it's kind of like
rad.
it's like a
Hipster.
it's a hipster bar.
okay.
It has buckhorns.
Yeah,
Lots
it's
of,
a
lots of
whiskey
10,
bar.
12 pointers on the wall.
Exactly. So then
I gotta get out more.
the way that it's no Edison.
It is no Edison.
But the way that she told me to get in is like a secret back entrance, through an adjoining building.
And so when the commune is over, she has to descend back into that finding horrific pain that is just kind of overwhelms her, and then all consciousness is gone. But she's still tethered.
So long as her spirit is there, we can fix this.
So your narrative confirms that it was the Circle of Five.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know where they are.
I mean,
And
if they
we
were
should
going to
move
war
on
with,
now.
if they were going to go to war with this Queen Mary circle, then they would probably want to dispatch of you guys, get out of the way. So it is dirty.
I want to do to Obadiah what he did to Antoinette.
I want that too.
We have to be careful that the pendulum doesn't swing too far in either direction here. We don't know if Obadiah is doing this willingly or unwillingly. We need to make sure that he isn't just a pawn. And there needs to be a reaction, but it needs to be equal. We can't just be overreacting and wiping out the entire coven for the actions of one member of their coven.
Understood.
We're in deep when Effie is the voice of reason.
But willing or unwilling, Obadiah has inflicted great harm upon our mother.
Yes. An eye for an eye is perfectly balanced.
And that's what I'm
An eye for a head is
offering.
entirely different.
I'm offering a premature bled out mummification for a premature bled out mummification.
I'm all right with that.
I love that it's premature. It'll happen eventually. We're just going to do it first.
Before you continue, I want to say thank you to Greg and Eugene for being super awesome and taking us into the second half.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you, Greg.
style.
Oh, wow. That Eugene
We're not
with the
spo-
big bucks.
We're not supposed to do that. Greg has big bucks too.
Greg has big bucks, too. Everyone has bucks.
Everybody has big buck
Hey, we
energy.
cannot lie.
And you other witches can't deny.
All right. So that essentially closes the.
I'm trying to stop. I'm sorry.
It's in your head now, right?
I mean, I got the whole thing.
Yeah,
When
I
the witch
know.
walks in with a little bit of lace and the tail hook in your
my
face.
I get sprung.
I'm
And now
not
I'm there.
sorry.
Not even a little.
Nope.
That was the meeting. I think that scene's over. Unless there's anything else. Were you going to do a ritual?
Yes.
Yes. We need a ritual.
I am of two minds here.
Now, she told Antoinette that we can't do the ritual because we have to go get the bad guys. But you don't have to do what she told.
Well, we can do the ritual, and I have
just because he said it was going to take a week.
I have a solution for that. If an eye for an eye is what we're all agreed with, certainly taking the life force of one Obadiah to help our maiden is certainly fair. So if we can get him back here, I think that we can rectify this situation for Antoinette and exact revenge at the same time.
Whatever gets us to where we need to be to enact said revenge, I am here for. Because I got a little taste of that, and it is not pleasant.
I just want to make sure that he's not being used by some other force and is an unwilling pawn in someone else's master plan, because that would be unfair to punish someone who isn't in control of his senses.
Well, we won't find that out standing around talking about it.
No, we won't.
Let us go.
Okay. Well, now we're going to do...
Do we still have things, or
we're going to go into a new chapter.
Okay.
So any conflicts that are still in play will leave. I think they're all resolved. You also get more plot points. And I did screw up your move there earlier.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I screwed up my move too. Because I should have paid the coin when I failed to roll.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. If you want to pass these around, everybody
But
gets one.
this is better story.
Oh, here.
Does anybody want the Chuck E. Cheese one?
Oh, sure. Oh, okay. I already have one. What do I got? These are fun. Where did you get all these?
Various Kickstarters and pocket sinks.
Murder. What?
There's this, one of my favorites, which you can see here. This is actually a die, and you spin it.
Oh, that's
and
so
stop
cool.
it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
nice.
awesome. I mean, technically manslaughter, I think.
Yeah. I was talking about how he got the coins.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
crime of opportunity.
Yeah.
So this is a new chapter. So we're going to go into the mission now. I'm not clear what the mission is, but this is the thing that you need to do to get the thing done.
Well, we're going to discuss that right now.
So that's a whole new chapter. So we'll open it up with where we left off, because we're just like, okay, we can't just stay here. Now what? Chapter 2. Now what?
The assault.
Which is good stitches.
Which is good stitches.
How long have you been holding on to that?
That was hers. That was hers. That was hers.
A dude just repeated what I said in story.
That was hers.
I was busy reading it. All I heard was him say it.
I know, I'm joking with you.
Thank you, Brent.
Thanks, Brent.
Woohoo!
My character is kind of shattered at this point.
Oh yes, you just lost your sister and the Don of the gang.
And the Don?
Yeah, you know.
Yes.
Don Corleone.
Yeah. And she is very out of sorts, and so.
When we start a new chapter, do we still remain with whatever magic we had from before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just
So
want to
you
make
get-
sure
yeah,
if anything resets at all when you start a new chapter.
One thing I forgot to do is that when you make moves, you're supposed to be moving along your aspects. Since I forgot that, you can go ahead and pick what aspect you want to start this chapter with.
Okay.
But going forward, we need to remember to, like, if you do a severity move and you succeed, you're going to go more towards crone. And if you fail,
Oh,
so
okay.
that
Doesn't really apply to this craft, but yes.
yeah. So it's
So we're on the outside of the circle.
yeah, and that was a very big part of the game that I completely forgot to do because I'm still using the GAN mechanics in my head. So we'll get through
Cool.
it.
Well, I'm going to take that opportunity then to shift where I'm at.
Yeah. So if you want to change your arc or your aspect, go ahead. At this point,
Because I'm mad and I'm going to do things.
the crone comes out.
Yeah.
So we have. So you're broken, shattered. Probably going to need some time.
I'm going to move to the maiden.
You're gonna do what?
Move to the maiden.
Okay. Aiden.
I feel as though I need to help him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're out of balance here, and I need
Yeah.
to make sure because she's not going to be very effective in this way. So I have a power here, but it's a little unclear. Maybe this is a note that you may want to clear, which is bring peace to a situation with discord, anger, or resentment.
That works right here very well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they're on purpose vague so that you can apply them.
Am I bringing peace to a situation using discord or anger?
No.
Or am I bringing peace to a situation that involves discord, anger, or resentment?
Right.
Okay. So I feel the need to try to solve his wound, salve his wounds, his anguish.
Yeah.
Just to level him out so he can think clear. She can think. I'm sorry.
I
She can think clearly.
Okay. I get it.
So how does the magic? What's the ritual look like to do that? And how much time are you going to put into it?
Well,
I mean, a good rule of thumb is if it takes you an hour, the effects of the spell should last about a day. If you really do something significant and special, it can be permanent. But it would be temporary relief because it's not actually fixing the problem. It's sort of
it's a panacea.
yeah.
Are you talking about would it be possible for us to merge
You can do a
like
coven
my
ritual.
blessing with his blessing?
Sure.
I'm assuming it's
I don't see
blessing.
why not.
Sure.
Or her, because that's your character. Sorry, my bad.
Also, your coven
Same
has
thing.
magic too, but you need 3 people to do that. I can't remember what they are.
Oh, right. I didn't know our coven had its own thing.
So the maiden magic is you cause widespread magical destruction wherever you are physically present for the next week.
That's what
We
I had in
also
mind.
want that.
You can conjure supernatural creatures. You can cause the sudden death of any mundane person you encounter. So there's different things you can do as a coven. I don't see that those apply in this situation necessarily.
Yeah, but
We'll find a
but
way.
I feel like this mayhem might ensue later.
Murder hobo.
Yeah.
So, do we send a beast to destroy this cut rate bar and the coven beneath it?
Well,
Will that send the rats scurrying for
What I
us
was-
to take action?
hoping to do is
My character's not discreet.
because one of the things with laws of one of the laws of Hecate is that life for life resurrection must be balanced by sacrifice.
Yeah.
So the idea that you had to balance, to use Obadiah's life force makes really good sense. But my blessing is return a spirit to their body and resurrect them from death as long as the body is habitable and can sustain life.
I
So
can
if you can
fix that.
fix the body,
I can.
Oh, interesting.
I can put the spirit back in.
I can do that.
Now, do we want to let the boat witches and the Circle of Five fight?
I think that if we can assert that we are stronger than the Circle of Five, that the coven of the Sisters of the Queen Mary will get the message. And if they don't,
and we
we'll
will,
take care of them later.
and we will be expended. And we will be expended.
In what way?
We will spend our energy
Oh,
to do this, and it may be easier to escalate the problem they're having. I'm trying to think of what my sister would say do, and
Well,
Your
your sister.
I would say
You're trying to speak in riddles like she does. Just come out and say it. What do
I
you want to
would
do?
say we destroy Long Beach Port, and we flip the table, and nobody has toys now because I'm pissed.
That hurts us, you know.
It hurts all
Yeah.
of us. That's not a very balanced solution at all. I think we need to come up with something that balances out this and still fulfills our agenda. I could go down and we can easily make the laws pass so that whole thing is fixed. I'm not entirely sure that the coven is behind this. We need more information on that. On the Sisters of the Queen Mary, if they're behind this. Well, I'm more worried about the fact that he decided to come in here in our hearth and take out Antoinette underneath our noses. That is a severe infraction, and it seems like an act of desperation. It's very uncharacteristic, and I'm feeling like we need to explore that more than we need to worry about Long Beach at this moment.
I agree.
But Rach talked to her, and she said it was him.
Yes, exactly.
which is why we're going to go after him and get them where they
We are
reside.
hitting their coven. We are going to take his life force to
Long Beach is a
restore
distraction right now.
Antoinette's.
Long Beach can be handled in a mundane way. I think I can just go to the
I
council.
think a distraction is what we need.
We're running short on time. We need to get his body and get him here to heal Antoinette faster, sooner rather than later.
The longer her spirit is chained to that body, the worse it is.
You're right.
And the longer her body is,
Well, and the other benefit here is if we can consolidate some power and show that we are stronger than Obadiah is, perhaps we actually add to our numbers with fellow Sisters of the Storm.
I recommend
Agreed.
that we, as a coven, summon a fey creature to bring Obadiah here, where we can conduct our rituals upon him.
You can do that.
I like
Then
it.
let us
I like
do
it
it.
better if he destroys the coven in the meantime, but whatever's most expedient.
The catch is everybody needs to be in mother aspect, or at least 3 do.
I can do that. I can switch back and forth without problems.
I am solidly in crone.
Yep.
And I went to Maiden in order to...
You guys are in. So we were. Okay.
Well, is everyone willing to pay a charm to get into Mother?
That's a lot of charms.
It's not. Well, it's not for me, but it is for you all.
It is for everyone else.
I'd much rather go down there. And I can bring some backup.
I was about to say, we do have a very well-sated...
Vampire army.
Yeah. Angelica is clearly one of my closest friends here, but there are others. And as we know, other covens don't seem to enjoy being around the vampires as much as I do. So I say we go and hit them where it hurts.
I agree with my sister.
All right.
I just want to blow some shit up.
Then let's go down to their bar. I'll make a quick call and get some backup to assist us. They can watch the exits. Because I think we need to go in and deal the damage.
You were talking a full-on assault downtown.
They're not going to expect it.
Well, they're.
And immortals will never notice the difference.
Just another Saturday.
But what my sister will say is that this will put us at a weakness.
Your sister
Boy.
wants to be alive again.
This will put us at a weakness. Well, she would want her voice heard. This will put us at a weakness.
I literally just talked to her. She wants to be alive again.
I know.
And she wants revenge against Obadiah.
And if we can bring her back, that is yet another show of our abilities.
So, dumb question. Mechanics. Can somebody kind of spirit Obadiah back if we can get a hold of him?
That's what I was saying. If we could summon,
I know.
Well,
Or
and the other
do
thing
we
is...
just hop on Metro?
The Gold Line takes us right there.
Exactly.
Right to Colorado.
I'm just trying to understand the plan.
No, once we have obtained Obadiah, yes, we do need to figure out some sort of transport. Are we able to take his essence while he is
There.
incapacitated?
I could.
Anybody have a large duffel bag? A drained body is considerably lighter.
I mean, we have a pawn shop.
need
We
his
have
body.
anything we want.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
The question is, I'm going to spend a coin to create... Can I spend a coin to, like, just create an artifact for us right now?
Yeah, of course. That means you have
Great.
narrative control, so you can just
I'm going
take
to
the
spend a
wings.
coin to say that we have, as part of our, like, stash, that there is a covered chalice that can hold, with, like, a like if we fill the chalice with his blood, that I can, that it also will hold his life force inside of it. That's what the artifact is made to do.
Into it.
That's awesome. And it checks the box that Stork was after at the beginning of the game, that we have an awesome magic thing.
Yeah.
Where did
And
it
we
come
can
from?
choose-
Sounds like the Holy Grail.
Wisely.
I mean, we have the
Carpenter's
the
son
front
is
of the store, then we got the stuff on the back shelf.
As long as it's chalice with the palace and not the vessel with the pestle. Because the chalice with the palace is the and the flagon with the dragon is a brew that is true.
Yes. Nailed it.
So I'm going to say that it came from, it is it's actually like more of like a, ancient Chinese bowl
Okay.
that was covered and actually like was originally created to be like a rice bowl. And then it was taken in by a coven of witches who imbued it with its magical power and passed it along.
Okay, that's great.
That like the connections between food and rice and life,
Mm-hmm.
and they used that to make it a vessel that could hold like someone's spirit inside of it. But it,
It's a very witchy thing to do. Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
like it.
Cool. So you have this bowl. You just need a body and blood.
Well, we know where to find that.
Let's get started.
So I have to see what that scene looks like. There's always that scene, especially in good witch movies, where the coven is like strutting down a street looking badass somewhere. You know,
We are the weirdos, mister.
We have I was going to say we have our craft
slow-mo
moment.
montage
Yeah.
in the craft where they're all looking
Yeah.
serious and walking into the camera.
like hair blowing, you know,
Yeah.
being all badass. So
As we walk to the gold line and then pay for our tickets.
yeah, how are you getting down there?
So
You
I
just gonna-
leave Abe to watch the store.
Okay. All right. How plugged in is he to all of this?
He knows we're going to the mattresses, as it
Okay.
were,
Yeah.
and he will kind of make sure that nobody's coming in who's not supposed to come in.
Got it.
And I'm pretty certain he should be aware of my sister's
Mm-hmm.
state. Is all of this cool with everybody?
Yeah. I was just trying to figure out if hearths have their own sort of protections anyway, or do they come pre-protected from
Not
outside
enough.
stuff? Or
Not really. No. It's just whatever magic you use to. Yeah. It's just where you. It's your home base.
I got it. We'd have to set up our own protections.
Well, you want to spend.
I want to spend a coin to get us a ride, and I have an idea.
Please.
You have part of a plan.
So I have a full plan.
It's not a plan. It's real.
So I call up some of the vampires
Okay.
that I am friendly with and let them know that there's an issue that I could use their assistance with. They will be mostly muscle, which is fine, but we actually need to get down there somehow and transport them as well, so we need something that's a large enough vehicle. And fortunately, with their connections, they go ahead and bring the hearse around.
Nice.
Not a lot of seating in a hearse.
There is in the back if you pack people in. There's no coffin in the back right now.
And
It's
hearses
been- it's
are good for
been-
packing people.
It's like a post-market hearse with like a mini bar and
Oh, it's like
yeah,
a
it's
hearse
legit.
limo?
yeah, like
Yeah.
a hearse limo, and like,
It's
they
a
have like
stretch hearse.
they have some O-neg in a bottle,
Yeah,
Some
like
crystal.
I imagine that this is their more luxury vehicle that they have, and they probably like rent it out for parties and stuff too, just as a novelty. But it is actually very useful.
They make a killing during prom season.
While we're doing a bad humor, thanks, Mike, for getting back on the board.
Mike
Love
is,
it. That's awesome.
He's going to get all the things.
he wants all the things.
You can have all the things.
Yeah, so they bring around the hearse, and it's actually been painted like this like nice chromy red color, and they've put fins on it.
What music are they playing?
They're playing. I actually recently saw this band called Hyla. That is a Nordic folk metal-ish band. It's a little esoteric, but delightful, and I think they're playing some of that.
I can picture that in my mind. Nordic folk metal.
Well, truly, I mean, isn't Nordic folk metal anyway? I mean,
So this red hearse is going blasting down the 110 into downtown as the buildings are passing by. Nordic folk metal blasting on the MP3 player. I don't know. It took the magic away, but they're going
they've got it, so it runs the Bluetooth from their phone.
Oh, okay. So then they can.
Yeah, they got a nice stereo system in there.
And they're going to what's the bar?
Seventh grade.
$7,000.
All right. So how's the approach look? Since you know more about this than I do. So there's a building next door. That's how you get in, right?
Yeah, so...
There's also an alleyway in the back, and there's an upstairs, downstairs.
But she, Antoinette said you had to go in.
we're going to go in through the connecting building because basically, like, it's like, okay, cool, there's, you know, the regular entrance for people, like customers, and then there's the entrance for, like, staff, and then they built in, like, another, like, kind of hidey hole entrance that actually goes to where they hang out. But the way that you get to it is through the adjoining building. And it's kind of that same idea that, like, Stork had brought up earlier, where we would have, like, the antique shop and the pawn shop and, like, connects in the back.
Right.
So they hid their haven in plain sight. So we come down and, like, it's a pretty busy intersection, but we go in the alley in the back, go through the building next door, upstairs, and it connects through.
Maybe it connects through like a tunnel that we can't see, sort of like
it's an illusion.
Like
cool.
the 9 3/4 kind of platform thing, but it's to the other building.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Who are we looking for?
You're looking for Obadiah, right?
No, who are the other four?
No, you know them.
We know them.
The superior is Florence, who looks a lot like Betty White. She's Hecate. Obadiah is Lilith. Jacqueline, they have a hag, Jacqueline. Karen is there. And Terry. Karen and Terry are new. They don't know them very well. You are currently all feeling a Hecate curse descend.
Son of a bitch.
You know that you are being it's descending upon you, like it's like a heavy air enveloping you, and you will succumb if you don't figure out a way out of this. You know the spell you're being cast. Somebody is casting this. It is a crone curse.
Oh, they're trying to make us zombies. This
You can
subject
kind of feel the stench of death envelop your lungs, and you're starting to feel this weakness and this weight descending. The Mother Superior is Hecate, so this is probably coming from her. You don't know of any other Hecates in this coven.
What can we do?
Can I immediately protect a subject from harm? Does the subject include all of us?
Yeah.
So that's wide enough. So I can switch then to Maiden, and it's Tara with a frown, just for those of you who want to reading along at home. Tara with a frown, Wisdom. Switch to Mother and immediately protect a subject from harm.
That's great.
What do I need to roll for that?
You don't have to spend because you're Tara. So you roll, though, which is, I forget, is it, what kind of...
It said Wisdom.
It's a Wisdom. Okay, so roll your Wisdom. But at disadvantage because it's a lunar.
1 plus
New
1.
year.
So am I rolling 3 dice?
Rolling 3 and picking the lowest 2.
3 and 3 again. So 6 plus 1 is 7, minus 1, so 6. Is that right?
Minus 1? No minus 1.
No minus 1? Okay.
Yeah.
7.
7, okay. So, barely though. What does it look like when you change forms like that? Is Tara, just for you at home, and if you're not familiar, Tara is sort of the beauty of that goddess, or that tradition even, is that the goddess completely changes form based on what is needed at that moment.
Well, because I'm only 32, and it doesn't change that. When you go from crone, you get from sort of severe and sort of hunched over a bit more to mother, which is much more much more of a mother-like. I would say that I look a little more Zoftig, and have the aura of care comes out there. My eyes are brighter, and it's very much more.
And what does it look like when you
Sweet.
cast? How do you cast a spell like that?
It's okay. It's okay. Come to Mother. Everything will be fine. I've got hugs for all of you.
And you,
Cookie hugs.
What? And soda pop?
I don't know, are they biscuits or cookies?
There'd be biscuits. Yeah.
You feel the weight kind of lift, and your life force sort of snaps back in, and it's almost like a black smoke that just collects and then blows back past this wall, which is this illusionary portal, and then these shutters that you didn't see before snap shut.
Well, that's not very nice, is it?
I suppose next time we should check for traps.
Roll to check for traps.
Speaking of which, I check my awareness, and I try to understand a problem. Where are we going to find this guy?
Okay.
Can I jump in and do that?
Yeah, please. That is a conflict you are confronting, which is two-front war would work.
One more time. What'd you just say?
You need to confront a conflict, so two-front war, I think, is our conflict.
Okay.
Or assassination, either one of those.
And we just got rid of you are all cursed, correct?
Yes, that's done.
So I roll against assassination. And it's still 3 dice.
Not for regular moves. That only applies to magic. So you are just rolling normal. Plus your wisdom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is a 10.
Okay.
Nice.
You have narrative control, so you tell me what's going on.
So we just passed through not a glyph, a barrier, a magical barrier.
A ward.
A ward, thank you. And they know we're here, and they're suddenly alert as we walk in, and Florence is getting to a safe position, and Obadiah is leaping to the fore to see who's here. Karen and Terry are like, "What's going on? Is this that thing?"
Are they still are they all in the bar? Or are they like in the upper offices, or?
They were having a meeting about what happened.
Okay.
And Florence is not happy.
Ooh.
Because she knows that we're coming. And so we're catching them like...
So this was just a regular move. So you're hearing them through the walls at this meeting, and you know what's going on. So what do you do?
I let everybody know they're all here.
Good. Let them see what happens.
I can resolve this with the least amount of conflict. He's currently in the form that I am. Blue Terra. You take on a horrifying form of monstrous anger, lashing out at those around you. Victims of your wrath will flee and seek shelter, fearing to look upon you again.
That would suck.
But it will be the quickest and cause the least bloodshed.
I'm pro this.
That we can
I'm
just
into it.
grab Obadiah and this is all we want.
I think you have a solid.
Right. Just get me in front of them and we'll scare the snot out of them.
I use a C in magic to differentiate it from mundane magic.
Oh, nice. Obi is casting magic.
So, so you just go. Are you going in? How are you? The
Yeah,
shutters
we
were
need to get
closed.
we need to get this done quick.
Okay.
I am going to.
I don't want to give them any more time to collect
Yeah.
this.
That's why I put down
this
that
needs
conflict.
to be a blitzkrieg.
And I
Right.
want to move against that conflict
Okay.
as well to say, because I'm in my maiden form now, and I'm going to curse Obadiah, but and it says the subject spirit is condemned while the curse is in effect, and all harm they do returns threefold.
So, this is a short spell because you're casting it ad hoc. So the more time you put into it, the more effective it can be. So how much time are you going to put in?
I'm not. This is a counterspell kind of situation.
Yeah, so this is like the wands are out. And
it's more like I'd like to think of it more as like a, like either from like the magicians or, like a Doctor Strange kind of situation where it's like gestures and fingers and like really crazy ass shit.
I like to think that, like, as siblings, we're sort of in tune and have, like, a two-hit kind of thing. So you're focusing on the quick thing to distract and get him where he needs to be, so I can work on my spell, which is probably going to take longer.
Exactly, yeah. It's like incapacitate so that you can come in for that blow.
Do you guys need anything to help out with that?
Well, you're taking care of literally everyone else. Yes.
Well, I have one other thing I can do, which is bring forward unfathomable wealth and resources.
I'd like to see what you do with that. So your magic so far has been like gestures. The Hikari tends to be kind of ceremonial. What does yours look like?
Oh, I have a boot knife, and so I pull that out and immediately just slice my hand because I specialize in blood magic.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right. And are you doing something too?
I'm not sure what I can do. They're already sort of doing their own thing. I can bring forth resources if you need them.
Well, you're doing that thing with the
I am.
crazy, like...
Well, I can do that now. I mean, are they in the next... where are they?
Yeah, they're in the room over that's been blocked off by the shutters.
All right.
But you can hear, or you heard, that Obadiah is casting a spell.
All right, I'm just going to march forward then, and I'm going to turn this thing on. You guys are going to see... Remember in Beetlejuice? When you shoot from the back and it's like these tentacles and stuff come out from the back, you never actually see what happens. So as she's striding towards the room and is going to open up the door, tentacles and smoke and weirdness comes out from her face, but you don't actually see what it is. And she's going to throw open the door and in the lowest, creepiest voice ever says, "We are here to exact revenge. Obadiah, we have come for you." And cast this
So
spell.
before you roll, you get your spell out.
Careful with the cord.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is a 7.
Okay, high enough.
Oof. Just made it.
All right, so
Can I just spend a token to actually have this succeed?
yeah,
That will do
and
that.
that means you have narrative control, but you go after her.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
all right. So before we get to that, the curse sticks. You feel it stick, and that, but he realizes what it is. There's actually kind of a momentary connection, and he stops his spell. So, good news, not going to curse you. Bad news, he's not going to get the threefold back on himself.
I just need the opportunity for my sister to do her work.
And that is you're buying time for her. Okay, so then I guess you would go first.
Well, no, I'm not. I've got the coup de grace, I think. What
okay.
is it you're doing?
Oh, I'm going to curse him horribly.
Go for it. Yeah, have her do it first.
Okay.
I'm very excited about this. Ever since I got this character sheet.
This is the thing you wanted to do.
Yes. Oh, wait, I have to roll 3 dice, right?
Yeah, because it's the new moon. That was kind of a bad decision on my part.
Even
Nice!
then, that is a 13.
Wow.
Oh, you don't get that for magic, just on moves. But
it
you
is
do
a
have narrative
magical
control.
13.
Yeah. Wow. So you get narrative control. You roll high.
So I'll read this move for those at home. Curse, severity. The subject will bleed out of all body orifices until they painfully die. So...
Good, we need the blood.
Yes. So Gina strides in and dramatically kicks back her cloak that she's wearing, pulls out her boot knife, slices her hand, and runs the blood over her own face, just mad dogging Obadiah, and the blood absorbs into her And then, like, as soon as it does that, it's like the blood starts pouring out of Obadiah. Just like he is turned into a fondue fountain of blood.
Collapsing and screaming, I'm sure.
Oh, obviously. Although it's less of a scream and more of a gurgle.
Since that's an orifice.
Yeah, when you're choking.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then...
But he wore his black cloak today, so, it'll be fine.
His hair could only get cleaner.
No remorse. And then Tara comes in with this...
Some Lovecraftian horror look that nobody's ever really seen, but we don't really see because from the back, it's just sort of some Lovecraftian horror that puts the fear of the father into the other who can't get out of their coven, or out of their hearth fast enough.
So you have narrative control. What happens? I mean, obviously Snape is down, but
whatever spells they were in, they're stopping. They're scrambling to get out of this place and out of this, and they're just literally scurrying and fleeing like rats, and knocking stuff over in their haste.
Are you all going to let them run out? Because they will.
Yes.
Actually,
We got backup, right?
we do have backup.
There's sacrifices coming.
I mean, I'm wondering if anything I say is even going to matter, considering the horror that they have just witnessed.
Well, there's a move called Make a Stand, which I'm going to do if you don't.
Because that's what I was going to do, is actually say something, especially since I've just, made this guy, bleed out horribly. And, can I do that? Or...
Yeah, I don't. Why don't
Or-
you,
or-
yeah,
yeah,
since you got
actually,
the good blood sport, why don't we go and see what you're
I'm
standing?
going to make a stand.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you doing to make a stand?
I say, Florence, we can end this now, an eye for an eye, or we can destroy you all.
Nice.
We did not come into your home to hurt anyone but Obadiah, who has transgressed.
So you're doing the assassination.
No, I'm doing the make a stand.
Which conflict?
I
I think it's assassination, right? Did we resolve that already? I don't think we did.
I rolled against it already.
Uh-huh.
That was my awareness.
Yeah, and you resolved
But
it.
this is not a spell. This is a roll.
Right. So the two front war.
Okay.
On spells, you don't have to worry about the conflicts, but the moves you do.
All right. And that's a 10, 11.
You guys are rolling so well. It's all going your way. All right. What does she do?
Everything's coming up storm. Everything's coming up storm.
So at this point, when you said that, they were running.
Right. So
she among them.
Well, I think Terry and Karen didn't actually get into it for all of this.
Well, we could modify it slightly because it actually is in here in your description. It says they flee and seek shelter.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So they could easily be cowering.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's no other way out of here except the way we came in, maybe.
Well,
so they're
yeah,
cowering.
they're upstairs. They could go downstairs into the bar.
So, Florence, their Mother Superior, makes a quick mental calculation and says, "You didn't have to come into our coven. You could have called." He crossed a line.
Oh, so they weren't behind it. Interesting.
If you stop now and we will not retaliate ourselves. She's not really in a place to negotiate, but
Okay, so while this is all happening, Hakati here. Sorry, I'm calling you by your craft now, but there's a reason that you know this is happening. Somebody is trying to resurrect a spirit down below in the bar. You can feel the tug of Obadiah's spirit, kind of
I am going
being pulled back into the body.
I'm going to entrap it in the bowl. Like, scoop up the blood and slap that lid on it.
I love it. All right,
you throw the Pokeball.
Let's see if you can do it.
Yeah, basically.
Let's see if you can do it before whoever's casting that spell.
Awesome.
And what move would that be?
Enforce my will.
Yes, enforce your will.
Or actually lash out. Seems like.
Either one of those would work. It's the same move, basically.
Okay.
But we don't have a conflict. So the conflict, obviously, is that this is happening. However,
Did anybody do anything against Obi casting magic?
No.
I did.
No.
You
I
did.
counterspell.
yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, we need to be more diligent about moving the conflicts down. So, I can make a conflict for you.
So you did this and took care of these two. So right now we don't have any conflicts.
Here's a coin. If you don't have one.
No, it's fine. If
I
he's
could
just
do it.
going to make a conflict,
I can
I'm
make
just
it, but
going to roll
but you
against
can
it.
choose to make it yourself
or you
and
can make a conflict.
and change the story a bit because I have a particular agenda here.
Well, I'm interested to
I'll
see
give you a
what your
I'll give you a
vision-
I can do it and give you a coin. This is that fate thing that Stork hates. This is exactly what's going on here. But I'll give you a coin
If
if I do the conflict.
yeah, do it because I want to see what happens. Like I want to see what we are awesome, and I want to see how much more awesome.
I mean, you're not kidding. The witches can destroy cities.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm looking at my power set and I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah, I've got other beautiful powers that I'd love to use.
Right?
So you have to think about the narrative consequences of them.
Right.
Exactly. And I want some consequences. We've been very much in the driver's seat here, and I would like to see what happens a little bit less.
I'm using the traditional spelling of Fae before anybody yells at me.
I'm okay. Is that F-A-Y? Oh, okay. Actually, wouldn't it be F-A-E because it's old English? Okay.
I wasn't going to say anything.
No. There was a
letting it
lot of
go.
silence. I thought I'd fill it up with something.
Okay, a Fae is casting the spell.
So that's the conflict you're confronting.
Great. I am still the quickest and most effective thing for me to do.
And we don't actually
is
know what's happening.
to-
You're the only one.
Yeah, is to trap that spirit because I can.
Mm-hmm. You have
This
the
is like
chalice.
I have the chalice. It is like this is a thing that I know will work.
Okay. Yeah, and it's 2 dice this time since it's not magic. Mm-hmm. And then plus your
Severity.
severity. Thank you.
Cool. And that is a 12.
Nice.
You
Nice.
get 2 out of that one. Conflict is resolved. Well, for now, keep it around because
Well,
I come
like,
back.
yeah, I was about to say it's like a temporary resolve. Like
Yeah.
the Fae is casting the spell.
It's resolved. The way it works in the game is resolved for this chapter. Nobody can confront it again this chapter.
Okay, I see.
But given it's a one shot, this is probably. How are we on time?
We got an hour,
Okay.
about a little less.
Good.
Oh, cool.
All right. So, what happens? You have narrative control.
Okay, great. I'm gonna like while you're talking to Florence and she makes her counter offer and I feel this kind of prickling. And also like, let's be real, Obadiah's going out fast. So I like stride in. Like it's almost like more of a glide float in.
What are you wearing? I got to see what this looks like in the movie.
I am
This is
wearing
a slow
like
motion
the,
moment.
like a very finely cut suit
Mm-hmm.
that that has a like tails.
Awesome.
So it's not quite a tuxedo, but it is more than just like a regular suit, especially for the celebration.
Yeah.
Raish had gotten a little more dressed up. And so as I come through, like, it's like a stride, glide kind of look, and the tails, like, come out behind them, and I go, like, kneel down and scoop up the blood as it comes from, like, it's like kind of a combination of like there's a pool of blood and I gather some of that as I gather the last bit of blood coming out of his mouth and put the lid on, all the while completely spotless. There is not a drop of his blood where I don't want it to be.
So you can still kind of see, at least peripherally, what's going on with his spirit. What's going on with his spirit?
His spirit is like, as I take the blood up, it's gathered, like, it's like the spirit coalesced into that section of blood. And like those last drops that are coming from his mouth are like the last bits of his spirit that were left in his body. And when I clap the lid on, it severs the connection to the rest of his body.
The body's dead. They got the soul, the spirit, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Phyllis, right?
Ella.
No, Florence. Florence is trying to broker her way out of this situation. There's Faye involved somewhere downstairs. The other coven is completely terrified and is hiding. In fact, so is the Mother Superior. She's just trying to put up a strong front. But she's like backing away and terrified as this face, I'm assuming, is continued. That's just what you look like right now, right?
Right. This is all kind of happening simultaneously.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, I mean, it. I guess I could rein it in now that it's actually hit.
The situation's sort of for momentarily silent. All of the witches here don't really feel anything else happening residually right now, as whoever's behind this has lost their connection and is working on something. So what do you do now?
Does Florence feel the Fae?
She is trying to
Okay.
talk her way out of this,
She didn't feel anything.
but she gave up. She gave Obadiah up, right?
Yeah, she
she's
did.
like, we're good, right?
She felt the Fae. I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Oh,
if
no, she
Florence-
was the only one that did.
Got it.
You don't know
Because-
about Florence.
Yeah. And I say, like, there are visitors from across the veil,
Where?
downstairs.
I want to know if the Fae are with this coven. I guess I could just ask them and see if they respond.
Or if there's a divination you want to use real quick. If you don't have a particular divination, you can still divine. It's just going to be harder. But everything's hard right now because it's the new moon. So
Yeah. Were you expecting visitors?
the way she responds, you think she's talking about you. You know, no, I had no idea Obadiah was doing this.
No, visitors downstairs that aren't here for the whiskey.
You actually kind of see her do a divination as she whispers it to herself and grabs her rosary. There's a fae here.
Duh.
You could work with us.
She's looking at Effie, kind of.
I'm reining it back. The smoke is filling away, and the tentacles are starting to yeah.
I'm so happy right now.
Okay. He must have been compelled to do this.
He must have been weak.
The debt has been paid. An eye for an eye.
Not
And
until,
Antoinette
not
was
until-
weak?
Not until we're done.
Turn that down, but sorry.
Better do a time check here. Okay, we're good so far.
Yeah.
Right, so she says, okay, what now?
Let's go down and greet our visitor here.
I think half of us need to head back to our coven. Would you like our help protecting the corrupting influences in your coven?
I think we all should figure out what's going on downstairs before any of us leave. We don't know what we're dealing with. Could be a gob, but it could be anything.
Well,
Lead the way.
I suppose we should go have a look.
You know the trapdoors and secret passages.
Afraid not, really. It's the stairs.
Boring.
How mundane.
She takes off her rosary, and there's like full-on crucifix.
So,
You realize now she's using School of Mary at this point.
is business open?
No, it's 11:30.
Okay, in the morning.
No, night.
At night.
That
the
doesn't make
business
sense.
is
Of course,
over.
it would be open.
I was like, it's a bar.
I can say I think part of my thing with fear is more than just the physical look. There's also just an aura of fear. So people have been leaving all of a
it's
sudden
just
very
weird in here tonight.
yeah
Can we go?
yeah.
Okay. So
I hear
don't-
the Edison is having some drinks.
That's
by the way.
right.
so I don't have to hit the fire alarm. Okay.
All right, yeah, that's fair because you had narrative control at that time, so we can say that's true.
It's just that people at ground zero get absolutely terrified. The rest of it is further
Yeah.
away. You guys are immune to it. You've
When you
seen
go
it
down
before.
into the
It's a nice
bar-
party trick.
Yeah, the bar's been completely abandoned, and behind the bar is devilish-looking chap wearing a bowler cap and a suit and a handlebar mustache,
Why they're always English? They're always English. All villains are English,
and he's
especially for us Irish lasses.
wiping down, a glass.
Are we playing The Shining? I said
I don't
in
know that
character.
reference. I don't know that reference. Would you like a beer? A pint?
Oh boy, that's.
Oh,
now
you can't come any closer. That's right. I put up a ward. I forgot.
I'm really conflicted because I really want a beer.
So he puts the beer down.
Gee, how silly of you.
Well, now that we're all here, maybe we should call it a night. You got your prey. I got my information. I think we can all just go home. Lovely seeing your faces here.
So I'm still in Crone, and I want to do a divination to know what's going on. I don't know that is a move.
Divination, yeah, it's a spell. So, what's your divination spell in Crone?
When you see a person, you see all that has happened to them, absorbing their life into my mind as if it were my own memories.
Oh, well, yeah, that definitely works in this case. So go ahead and roll your. Well, you have woe, so roll 3 and pick the lowest 2,
Okay.
and then wisdom.
And I'll fix my roll if it doesn't work out.
So I have divination happening, not enough like bloodletting. I don't know. Where are your vampire friends? By the way?
Somebody just bled out of every orifice twice in this game.
My vampire friends are outside.
Oh, okay, they're guarding the place. Okay.
Oh,
Oh boy.
that roll works. Here you go.
All right.
You know what? Forget about that. That is a tactic in Fate, which is roll first and then pay the price. You might as well see what happens.
All right. So you bought narrative control. Is that what just happened?
Yeah.
Okay. What happened?
He tries to resist as I put my arm out to him, and he tries to hide the information that I'm going to need some help. Forces beyond our control are trying to...
So what's the big plot? Oh, you're the one that has to decide the big
I
plot.
got to decide.
You can kick it to the table
Yeah.
if you want.
In our shipment
In
in Long Beach
Yeah.
is a specifically old Celtic device that allows you to control Fae.
Faye. Excellent.
And they are afraid of it falling into the Coven's hands. We don't know that it's there.
Uh-huh.
We
Now you
suspect
do.
it's just in a magical level, but now we know what the object is and what it looks like.
Uh-huh.
And that it's in the shipment that's being delayed currently at the
Correct.
port.
See how I brought it all back in.
Right.
Nice. This is why I like this game. You guys do all of the work.
Exactly. Plot, please.
Because it was on a slow boat, they had some time to prepare for this.
Right. And so they thought they'd pit us
So
against
they,
each other.
Right. So they set up this thing in Long Beach to delay it and then pitted us against each other.
Right. Was Philip involved in this?
Who's Philip?
And
And he starts making a gesture like he's closing a curtain. Uh-oh. What does that mean? Doing something.
Yeah.
A balance has been reached and no more needs to happen. Everything is done. A balance has been achieved.
Do you want to try to
wish
stop
go-
him? You
if
can do it.
Hey,
You
how?
can do a move here if you're trying to stop him from doing what he's
I'm
doing.
just doing a statement.
So
a move. Yeah.
Yeah.
What have I got from the way?
I
to move?
began babbling everything that I'm saying.
That's make a stand. There's a
Yeah,
wisdom
why
roll.
not? Let's try and make a stand.
All right, and you're confronting the fact that the Fae is casting the spell. That.
Okay.
Yeah.
No more needs to happen tonight. A balance has been reached. If you go any further, more action will have to be taken to balance.
We don't have to use that artifact, but we will possess it.
What are you talking? Anyway,
What artifact?
that's double ones, I think.
Oh, that's a very stork thing to
Nope,
have.
that's not. That's a 6. See, I should get dice that can actually read.
You got like feast and famine going on.
So
now.
I got a 7
Okay.
on my move.
He stops doing what he's doing. Oh, so you didn't order this device for your use?
No.
What is he talking about?
So there's a contraption on our shipment that will allow us a level of control over the Fae.
Well, this has all just been a terrible misunderstanding. I bid you farewell. And he's drawing another curtain again.
Not so fast.
That's what I thought. I didn't think you'd want him to go.
No. So I have a divination thing that I'm trying to figure out the best use for with it. I think it's something that'll definitely like put him in his place to make him sort of stop and at least talk to us a bit longer.
Okay.
My divination in Crone is you reveal to the subject and all those you choose that are connected with them their untimely and violent ends.
Ooh, that's deep.
I like it.
So I want to cast that on him.
Okay.
You show them their greatest fear. Who is this? Somebody has that.
Let's see, I've got a +1. Which is good because that gives me an 8.
Okay. And you get to see this too, right? The vampires outside can smell the Fae, and it smells like
Sunday lunch.
beignets with powdered sugar.
Yeah, that's about what Stu said. Marshmallows or something.
And their untimely demise is when the vampires have lost their patience and just come in and devour him and cross over into the veil and keep devouring until they're full. Mm-hmm. And it's a horrible, horrible demise for them. So that's what they see. That's what he sees. And all of whoever might, I don't know who else is there.
Well,
and
you
so
don't know.
He immediately stops. Brought vampires.
I think you should call your friends.
I'd also like
Why
to.
would you bring vampires?
Why wouldn't I bring vampires?
They're very nice people.
They're not people. They're
How dare you?
Vampires are people too.
You're one to talk.
Don't be speciesist.
So I
He
would.
takes off his bowler hat and starts dabbing his sweat.
So I would stick around unless you want me to
What
ring
color
the
is this
dinner
sweat?
bell.
Okay, well, what now? So you foiled our plot. I thought you were trying to do something bad with that, and so we were going to stop you from doing that. It was a misunderstanding.
By having covens fighting each other.
What, that's better than us fighting them?
Or.
You are very powerful, if you didn't notice.
Oh, believe me, we're aware.
Well,
But you could have maybe perhaps had a civil conversation with us at some point instead of sowing mass
What's your
chaos.
friend's name?
I'm very sorry that I may have gotten some ideas in certain witches' heads about killing other witches, but ultimately it's them that does it. You have your justice right there.
How sorry are you?
Oh, very.
Enough to do something about it?
You can make things right.
What do you mean, make things right?
If you're going to put ideas in people's heads, maybe we can have you put ideas in the right people's heads to fix this grievous error.
And you can help my sister.
Okay, I don't have much of a choice. What is it that you would have me do?
At this point, you have a choice. Soon you will not.
Looking out the doors, he sees, I don't know what the vampires are wearing. Hastening through. Yeah.
Angelica, I think you're needed up here.
She's hungry too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if she can hold herself.
She did just eat.
Yes.
She did,
But
but
probably not enough.
not a
Okay.
lot. And boy, they smell amazing.
Dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like all the desserts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you have me do?
It's the first time she's ever smelled one, too. It's like, what is this delicious thing I've just now
I just
discovered?
want to eat it so much.
So I do believe that we have a broken witch, as it were, that needs to be put back.
Technically, we have 2.
Obadiah was
I
an
have
asshole
to?
anyway.
Obadiah's an
What's the whole-
asshole.
like, do we
He's a
have
simple, manipulative asshole.
But also we have this pesky
can
tax that did come about, and that is an issue that could be resolved very easily by a few whispers in the right ears.
Oh, certainly. I'll do that right now. Have a good night. And he's trying to pull a curtain again. Do you let him?
I start texting Angelica.
She does like the super vampire speed thing and is standing next to you just looking.
Oh, I don't believe you've been introduced yet. I would love for you to meet my friend Angelica.
Okay. Takes a bar napkin and signs an
Swanward.
elaborate name. And it glows. My contract.
So,
Father's going to be pissed. Pour some whiskey. And that is the meeting, or no, the mission.
Yeah.
Unless there's something else you want to do.
Well,
what?
we're out of balance. Because
Uh-oh.
we've gotten more than we needed.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what you get for having a Tara in your group.
Fine, I'll give him back. And like,
Yeah, that should balance it out. Yeah, because it needs to be a zero-sum game here.
I get on the phone with Abe.
Yeah.
Is she okay?
I don't know. It's just a dead woman. Your dead sister is dead.
Can you check?
Okay. He comes back. She's still dead. Kind of like a mummy. It's creepy. Don't make me go in there again.
All right.
Stinks. Sorry. I didn't mean... That sounded...
No, I get it.
Witches. Quick.
Click. So, what did the contract do?
No, the contract was to go and fix the deal.
and to fix.
Was it? I mean, I don't know if we were clear. You guys were all talking in code. Do you
Yeah,
want him to resurrect Angelica, or is this about fixing the...
It was both. He needed to fix both the things.
I
that
missed
he
that
did
part, but
wrong.
he signed the contract, so he will do that. All right,
Yeah.
so all right, it's like, okay, can I go
Yeah,
now?
sorry.
Can I go?
Is this sort of a blank contract, like the user, of the signer of this contract will do what needs to be done, kind of
Well,
thing?
the terms that were laid out.
Okay.
I just missed that first part, which makes sense. So he's drawing the curtain again,
He's done everything that,
and well, he hasn't left yet.
but he's done what we've asked of him.
We're kind of retconning a little bit because
Okay.
Yeah. So he has to go do it. So he draws the curtain to leave, and it's like reality splits open for a second, and there's some bluish purple light, and he fades away.
And the contract remains in
And
there.
then your
I-
phone
I
rings.
got it.
Your phone rings.
Yeah.
She's screaming in there. So, okay, I think she's back.
Can you get her a blanket?
Okay. All right.
She should smell better now.
He hangs up.
Thanks.
Sorry, Angelica. I know that probably smelled
What
really delicious.
was that? I want more.
That was a fey creature. And if there are more that misbehave, I'll see what I can do.
Oh, I'm so hungry now. She starts looking around, and you've never seen her do this before. Like, she's looking for prey.
I think it's time to get you a drink. Let's. What's next door? There's probably like a restaurant. Or,
Yeah.
yeah, there's.
Trattoria.
I
or
mean
something.
that whole
It's
intersection
Mexican
is just
downstairs.
full
It's
of like.
Chinese
Yeah.
next door.
Yeah. Also,
You can get a
since
margaritas.
Since it's the Chinese New Year, like there's everywhere else is full of people.
Yeah.
As we're leaving, I'm going to bring forth unfathomable wealth and resources and pay Florence. It's like, here's money for the lost wages and for your time. We're sorry that you were victims of circumstance. This should even it out.
What does it look like? Does the
It's like a gold bar. It's a small gold bar, and it's probably worth let's say $3,000. This is probably about what they would have made that night at the bar, right?
Does that mean I don't have to give it back?
No, this is just money for lost money for the people that they were. So that's how they're making money.
accept this as a partnership between two covens aligned for a singular purpose. Thank you.
Balance has been restored. I'm okay with this.
And the soul's been corrupted. That's up to you, but really, don't feel obligation.
I mean, I'm just saying, someone this weak is a drag on both of our covens.
I have a suggestion.
There's some blood upstairs.
There's some blood in the bowl right here.
But what is
There's
Tara
a
saying
lot of blood around.
about
Yeah.
the balance?
I have a friend in some need. May I?
Anything for you, sister.
Much appreciated. And I think Jaina's going to go and pour herself like a drink from the bar, a thing of whiskey, so she can cheers Angelica, who's going to drink the blood of Obadiah and just
Like a fishbowl margarita.
yeah.
She needs a straw.
What happens when you consume an enchanted chalice of blood? What happens to a vampire that does that?
From a corrupted soul. From a fey corrupted soul.
Oh, it probably has like a Susan of Fae in there.
And that's, I think, because before you said that, like, witch's blood would overpower and cause that, like, sharp, like, sensory overload.
Yeah.
And I think the influence of the Fae on Obadiah's blood actually completely mellowed it. It's like when you have, like, a really, really young bourbon versus, like, an aged whiskey. It's like, it's given it nuance and depth of flavor and sweetness. So she is basically drinking like a 25-year-old single malt.
Nice.
Did it make her drunk?
It might.
With
Faye?
power.
Yeah, I think Faye would I think it would make her drunk.
Yeah. She is going to be so happy by the end of this.
And at some point, Karen and poor Terry.
It's like the difference between moonshine and a 25-year-old scotch.
They finally come out of some closet somewhere. Dust has settled. Covens are unified. Mother Superior is resurrected. So let's move into a montage, where I guess we can close out.
We have 30
What we
minutes.
need is a
We have 30
montage.
minutes.
Oh, we have more than enough time. I guess cutting it a little early. So
Well, we can.
Thanks
talk-
again, Mike.
Dude, Mike.
Mike is in there.
that's amazing.
In the house.
Thank you.
We could talk a little bit again, I guess, about prizes and causes and things. So
Well, let's montage and we can.
Yeah, let's
we
do
can
Yeah, that's
we can end up
montage,
with it.
and this means you have complete narrative control and wrap up your character at the end of your story. We'll start on this side since we started here.
Trying to think.
Or we can start on this side.
No. I'm not used to having to go first. I'm used to being able to go last.
It's a counterclockwise.
Wondershins.
Yeah. I think that we've learned that the Fae are problematic at best. And that Jaina has, once the device comes in, actually does start trying to learn how to use it. And feels that through using it might be able to broker an even better alliance with the vampires by providing them with more delicious treats,
Snacky snacks.
snacky snacks, which also means that there's less human blood that they need to drink. So it's going to sort of be a rebalancing of the Fey realm with ours, I guess.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd like to see that series. Okay. What about Effie?
I'm having to drop back and punt for a second because mine involved the artifact as well, so I have to think about it. So
Oh.
go ahead and try something else while I think of something else.
I get back to the shop and give my sister a big hug.
Ah, she's restored.
And I
If
tell
not
her
a little traumatized.
I tell her everything that happened, and she essentially encourages me that maybe I am Mother Superior material, and I say, hell no, that's your job.
I had one night of it, and it was funny.
Right?
Okay.
And I go and I take Abe out for a good evening because I'm a crone in the streets, but a maid in bed. So
There's
poor
a song
Abe.
in there somewhere.
I'm a maiden in the sheets.
There might be a Boggart song in there somewhere.
There's definitely a Boggart song in there somewhere.
All right, I think I got it.
Yeah, go for it.
Along with her, we'll study this artifact as well, and with it, I'm going to be using one of these things. I have Saraveste, which is I can create a work of art or object. And so I want to make some charms for all of us. Small little bracelets, sort of maybe make them sort of Celtic torque kind of things that will keep us from being possessed by fae as long as we wear them.
That's
so that
great.
we don't have to have this problem ourselves ever again.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Now, it's in studying the magics of this thing, it's not controlling, but it keeps them from having to possess us. So at least we are safe from that problem. And that takes some time.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah?
Great. Very good.
And it's balancing because it's it's perfect for tarot.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm going to say that it turns out. So when we get back, open up the shop the next day, I see the girl who was carrying the girl from the Coven of Pasadena who was carrying the gremlin
Yes.
from who had studied that book, and she's back in the shop, but this time without all the distractions and other people and alcohol, I realized that she actually has a spark in her
Nice.
when it's not being suppressed.
Yeah.
And I end up bringing her to the Circle of Five
Okay.
to replace Obadiah,
Oh, nice. Because now they can't be a circle of five, can they?
and to balance the scales there.
Nice.
That's
I
great.
approve of this.
Great.
I'm having a nice influence on everybody about balance.
And I start teaching her the ways of Hecate,
Great. Yeah.
as part of this alliance that we have.
Because that was Obadiah's craft. So, right?
No,
No, he was Lilith.
He was
yeah.
Lilith.
But I mean, I'm not going to teach her something else.
Awesome. All right. Cool.
At some point, she may have to choose whatever her affinity is. But for
Yeah.
now,
But this is
I like it. I like it.
this is
Yeah.
what I
Little
have
protege.
to teach you.
And then you have someone in there that you can see. This will already campaign and be fun.
Awesome.
I mean,
Great.
it's not like I have a mole in their ranks or anything.
No. Mole.
So your coven, who we never named, I realized.
Nope.
No.
is alive and
Stormwatch.
well.
How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fey,
like that.
fey keepers. Fey killers. Cool. Well, that's it. That's the session.
Yay, that was fun.
Bye.
You're one of the
Thank
things
you
I
so much.
really
Very
like
witty.
what I really like about one of the things I really like about this game is the absolute power all these people have. There's none of this power creep. There's none of this. Well, I can't do that, or if only I can do that. You've really given everybody so much stuff that they can do, and it's, as you said, it's so flexible narratively.
Yeah.
Which is that whoever decides to GM this, just that needs to be in the book. These are general for a reason. Please interpret these as openly as you wish, because. Like you said, I could take over a whole city with this one power right here.
Yeah, and it's because of narrative consequences, so you don't have to worry about, how much damage did I do.
Chat wants to know how they can find the game.
Oh, it's in development.
Okay.
But it's based on the Great American Novel. All of the core mechanics were Great American Novel, so you could really make your own version. I do have a playtesting document in the works. So I will be sure to drop a link to that in the forum so that they can play around with it.
And Great American Novel is available?
Yeah, that's available now on Drive-Thru RPG, published by Gallant Knight Games.
And it's also in our bundle.
And it's in the bundle. It is in the bundle.
Speaking of the bundle, we're about 20 minutes to the top of the hour, and we are in a tight race. It looks like Eugene might be our winner. So if anybody else is interested in that set of pumpkin spice dice, I think you need to get in there. Is this bad, pitting them against each other?
I don't know.
For such a good cause.
Today we are the Fae.
So what did the? Can you describe the dice a little more, since you have some? The pumpkin spice.
I only have one. I got it at one of the last conventions I went to, and it's this really beautiful, sparkly, gold and orange fleck.
Oh, is it those big ones?
Yeah,
I have one too.
I have a big one. Yeah.
I didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah, they were calling them pumpkin spice, so I'm assuming that's what the dice set looks like overall.
Yeah, cool.
That's beautiful. And you can also head on over to Dice MB and check out any of their sets and look more in depth on what the year-long subscription would give you if you want to take a look at that, which is like the marathon full prize of a year-long subscription to the Dice MB box, which does not, I've been told, just contain dice. It's dice and stuffs.
Neat. I like stuffs.
Yeah.
I mean,
last year
I figure we could have been more specific, but it was also the 4 a.m. game, so no, we couldn't.
Last year we did over 6,000 in sales, and we're still a little behind. So come on in and bid, and somebody win that prize.
Yeah,
So we really want to give it away. I'd like to thank all our sponsors for helping us out with this as well.
And we are currently at $4,272.
So if you've been sitting on the fence, now's the time to throw in some money.
Wow, that was a hell of a session. That's great. Thank you.
So
everybody.
thank you everyone who donated. And once again, if we could get especially if we could get to that 6,000 mark before the end of the 24 hours.
Yeah.
Then that gets us so far.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only one more game after this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's a big ask, but even if you're not able to donate every 20 minutes like Michael is,
Thank you.
spread the word, let your friends know. The next game coming up is a Bria's game.
Yeah, that's going to be rad.
So it is going to be nuts and awesome and such a good time.
She role plays even as a GM. She's great. It's great.
She's an amazing,
so much fun.
Yeah, and she's an amazing GM as well.
And one more time, just what are we talking about? We're raising money for the Rainbow Railroad, a charity that helps lesbian, gay, and bisexual and transgender individuals escape violence and persecution from their home countries. People are literally leaving their countries so they can live the way they feel they need to live. Last year we raised $6,000, and our goal this year is $10,000. That is what it takes to get one person to safety. So we really want to reach that $10,000 goal. The donation page will be up for a month, with all donations eligible for our big prize, a year-long Dice Envy subscription. In addition, each game has its own set of amazing prizes, of which people are winning as we speak. And each game, and they will be giving out to our wonderful, amazing people who donate to our live event. And thank you, everybody, for watching, supporting, donating. Don't forget to spread the word. You can use Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram. Tell your mama, tell your daddy.
I hear there's
TikTok.
this thing.
Yes.
I hear there's this thing called Mewing.
Melee.
I don't believe it exists.
Yeah.
I think another fun thing to talk about a little bit more just about this game.
Yeah.
The game. Which
I think it's going to be a really interesting system to play a longer.
Do you have a name for it?
the Great American Witch.
This
Staying
really
on brand.
specifically off the tongue.
Staying on brand.
There's even a cover for it. It's in design. It's actually pretty far along. But yeah, the design goal was to be campaign play. I really wanted a new World of Darkness. I wanted a World of Darkness that didn't make me feel creepy. And I wanted it to be powerful and awesome. And I didn't want to have to worry about rolling hit dice on things and, swingy dice. And I wanted narrative control with the players. Because especially in this sort of genre, players really can bring a lot to the table. Like what happened tonight or today was a good example of allowing the freedom of narrative control just to take it where it needs to go, and then it becomes a collaborative story.
Well, and I appreciate that you really needed to have multiple playbooks going at one time to be able to balance out the party.
Yeah.
No one person could have done everything that we did today.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's really important, so everybody has their moments.
And it does allow a lot of creativity amongst the players to interpret the moves that they have, or what did you call them? Yeah, to adapt to the situations.
Yeah, the big departure, which was something I kept on failing on, is the path of the aspects, because I'm used to a binary system with Great American Novel. But that, I think, in campaign play will come out a lot more.
I can see it in campaign play. It
Yeah.
could also. I don't see it as that big of a narrative. I could see in campaign play because basically now you're getting some minuses and such, and as time moves on. But for a one-day event, because this all happened within 24 hours,
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal.
I like putting it on the Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
It really kind of screwed you from the outset. But
Yeah,
it's funny.
no, it's definitely a fun way to go about it. And I mean, it's nice because I love World of Darkness games, but they get so crunchy, and sometimes you want something with a little less crunch.
Yeah, sure.
For sure. And it's nice to like have a set where, like you said, like you had to have the different playbooks, and for all of these characters were massively powerful. There were also all the books that we played with felt balanced.
Yeah.
Right. There's only so much that you can do within your class, and there's only so much I can do. So, as you say, there's holes in everybody's power set. It needs to be filled by others.
And I was using magic against you narratively, and then the idea of having to use your magic to confront magic. That was a really cool moment when there was all of the witches were just doing their thing quietly in the room because something was about to happen, and everybody's trying to stop it. And I like that feel. That was a really cool moment. I like the tableaus you guys brought to there. There were some really
It's fun.
seeing it in my mind. Like, that's so awesome.
I like the moves.
tails.
I thought they were pretty cool. My character was really good at creating earthquakes and natural disasters. And,
not so great when you're in a building, right?
and I felt like there was still plenty I was able to do, to interact with the game and be part of the...
I was happy that I was able to, I think, use one from each school.
Yeah, that's cool.
Within play here today.
Yeah.
Kara's an interesting one. That was sort of like a wild card.
They really are.
Yeah.
And I really like playing generalists, and that's kind of what Tara is, because she's able to jump around and she can heal. She's not great at all of that, but because she doesn't have the to pay to switch, it's great. I really liked it. It fit me really well.
Cool.
I like Rangers.
And the dice rolling wasn't a big deal.
Nope.
No.
Yeah,
I saw
for
Stormford
once.
playing. He's like, oh, good. No problem.
I mean, the dice were super, super kind to all of us,
Yeah,
but
it was-
especially
I don't know. I was on the cusp. Each time seven's
but
the
for
cutoff.
you, that's
But I
good.
did make it.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
was
actually fail.
Didn't fail every time.
And I rolled poorly and freaked some guy really out.
Yeah.
Philip
well, that's
deserved
fun,
what he
though.
got.
Exactly, it is. And
That was horrible for him.
That feels like something that could be really campaign relevant.
Yeah,
It's like,
like that's going to come back to bite the coven at some
Exactly.
point. Yeah.
Totally.
So what's coming up next?
For me?
No,
Oh,
I mean
the game wise.
on our.
Yeah.
have to look it
Abria
up.
is running something.
Yeah.
And
So-
it would
Looking
be
it up.
awesome.
I'm pulling it up right now.
And do we give away a prize now?
Overlight.
I think we got 10 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
She's running Overlight.
In what system?
It just says
Alright.
Overlight.
Okay. So stick around for Abria. Should be coming up soon,
Yeah.
and we will be giving away that prize in the next 10
That's
minutes
right.
or so.
Somebody's going to be
Yes.
getting some
T minus 13 minutes.
pumpkin spice dice.
Aw, yeah.
Yeah.
Pumpkin dice spice, and the dogs.
Yeah.
The dogs are here. They're so cute.
The dogs are not for me to give away.
We have a big
I
stew
guess
of wine.
I ended a little early. I tend to do that, but we could discuss what a campaign would look like. I see I see this with this setup. I love the idea of the competing covens. But one of the interesting things that happened is just I can't predict the alliance between the two activist covens, and what does that mean for Los Angeles? I could see this taking a really interesting turn, because the goal of these covens would be to not worry about being public about what they need to do.
Yeah.
So that would be fun.
Basically, the patriarchy is dead.
Yeah, anything that's patriarchy, just blow it up.
What's your idea for the fatherhood?
So
That didn't really touch us.
yeah,
It sounds
no,
interesting.
one of the big things is the Illuminati. And that didn't happen at all in this game because it wasn't really relevant. But the Illuminati, I've actually personally done a lot of research on from a storytelling perspective. I actually wrote a book about the Templars, and I kind of immersed in that. And I love the idea of the Illuminati being a secret society in service to the Father God without knowing it, really. And so they're working all of their conspiracies. But then they have this sort of Golden Dawn style of magic, which isn't like witch magic, where it's just really extremely powerful and innate. And drawing from the power of the Mother Goddess, it's more like prescriptive. Guys in rituals wearing Masonic robes, putting a whole lot of effort into what a witch can just do. And that organization is really immersed throughout the entire country. So the bad guys really are the Illuminati. And you'll see them in the game for sure. But also...
Well, and other covens are also bad guys.
Other covens also supernatural, because the supernatural will cross over all the time. And so you're going to have to deal with monsters and vampires, entire vampire societies. But I didn't really go into it thinking World of Darkness, and that is, the vampires have a huge structure, or even True Blood. That they're sort of like more tribal and kind of living off of the land as best as they can, because they're monsters and they're predatory and they're siloed. So I don't imagine in this gameplay, it's really the witches or the vampires, in World of Darkness.
Sure.
So there's much more structure, but it's also not very structured. One of my favorite things in here are the broken circle covens, which are the ones that allow magic that's not protected by the Seven Sisters, and all the drama that can entail. And one thing that hasn't really been played yet is a broken circle witch.
That sounds so fun.
Which is like, you could play anything.
Yeah.
How do you handle witches of the same craft confronting each other?
Well, they because it's narrative driven, it doesn't matter. There's no role creep. But what ends up happening so far is that they complement each other. There's entire covens, which is one craft.
No, I just meant, like, for example, if there was a practitioner of Tara in this other coven, do their spells affect each other?
Oh, sure.
Do they do they cancel each other out?
I totally took out Obi there. And we're in the same the same craft.
Yeah, he was Lilith.
Okay.
And then I was kind of pulling from different crafts. See, like the Fae is more on the Hag side of things, because Hag is a Fae craft. And so I was actually using the Hag playbook to figure out what my little Fae guy could do.
Neat.
So,
Chat says they wanted to comment that they love the use of the triple goddess as a mechanic.
oh, thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, it's really nice. I
extremely
like
important.
the setup where it's like, with the exception of Tara, like you earn these coins, but also like a base thing is like you're gonna have to pay to switch your aspects on demand.
Yeah, right.
And I really actually like that.
And it's encouraged in the text that you do that when it's dramatically appropriate moment. You're driven to do that.
Yeah.
Or you just need to do it. Somebody's gotten hurt, and you need to switch to heal them.
Yeah.
I love the mother moment where you just came in and like, oh, that was about to be bad. You were going to be turned into zombies and...
Well, and you left it general enough that, I just do whatever I need to do to get it done. It's fun. There's a lot of fun and creativity with this game. I could really see it, and I can also see you issuing new playbooks as ideas come to you and such.
That's
as
why
well.
I put in the broken circle, because then you could do entire lines of crafts. There's really no limit.
You mentioned that there were multiple stages of the game. What were they?
The different types of chapters.
Yeah.
They are montage and mission. We had those. I don't remember them all. I had a cheat sheet here. But they are just different types of scenes that are structured differently, and you leave the scene. They're not scenes, they're chapters, because you can have multiple scenes in one chapter. But you leave the chapter when basically the goal of that chapter is done. I don't really remember what they all are, and I can't find my notes. Oh, here we go. Yeah, one of them is magic, which is like the coven sitting down. We're going to do a spell together that's going to take forever, and we have to get all of the components for it and all of the things. And a week later we can do our thing.
But you can hand wave a lot of that though too, right?
Yeah, you can. Meeting mundane. So we didn't do one of these. It's just like your day-to-day life. You might have to go to
secret
work.
Identity.
If the coven needs money, you might have to bartend. Whatever. There's menace, which is something's attacking the hearth, which is we kind of did that. That I went from meeting to menace. and then Milestone, which is sort of like the climax of a major arc. And they just have different exit points, really. Like on Milestone, you really it's geared for you are going to kick ass and take names. This is your moment, and that would be like the milestone you play at the end of a campaign as everything's coming in.
That's kind of what we just did.
Restructured,
though.
yeah.
We kinda
I kind of inserted a little
yeah.
minor one, yeah. Just different with one shots, but
Do you have a favorite playbook?
Lilith.
Really?
I put a lot of thought into Lilith and did a lot of research because there's a lot of misnomers about Lilith as a mythological person
Yeah.
character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But my favorite part about
was
Lilith is
framed.
she was the one that rejected Adam. And I'm like, this has got to be... And I was trying not to True Blood it because it was so hard not to do that. But I really wanted... The marriage of Lilith and vampires is so ingrained.
Yeah.
I just love the idea that you could just make vampires. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Boom, vampire.
Yeah.
Boom, vampire.
You're
vampire.
all vampires. I also like Hag a lot because that was really inspired by my wife's book, Hag. Kathleen Kaufman, wonderful book. In fact, this entire game's inspired by her approach to witchcraft and how witches, if witches were real, this is what they would be. Witches are real, but if mythological witches are real.
Totally.
So yeah, that's another one just because I have a lot of personal connection to it.
I like this behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, we
Yeah.
learn about it. That's neat. And if you want to do some research before the game comes out, buy your wife's book.
Yeah, Hag is an excellent book.
We should plug that as well.
Yeah.
What, do you know who the publisher is?
Turner.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, she has another book that's... She has so many books. All her books are good. Hag is my favorite, though.
Amazing.
We are 5 till the hour.
Okay, we did it. We filled space.
I think we can
Safely. We should probably give it away because we need to make room for
safely
them.
call Eugene the Spice Dice winner.
Yay!
Thank you so much, and thank you, Michael and Brent and Craig and everybody who gave. There are a couple people who are hidden, so I won't say their names, but we appreciate what you can do.
Very good. Thank you.
And
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
this is an awesome thing.
And what are we up to now?
We are at $4,272.
Wow. Let's get it up to 10. All we need is another 5,000.
We can do it.
Well, even if we could just, if we break that 5K mark during during Abria's game, that's over halfway there on this first day, and then the word will spread,
Yeah.
and we'll be able to get that 10,000 that will allow Rainbow Railroad to save a life,
Literally
saving someone's life.
Right.
And, just like the song asks, how to save a life. This is how. Spread the word. Donate if you can. If you can't, tell your friends, tell your family, everybody.
Random strangers on the street. Everyone.
Yeah, get on the socials. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
And thanks for watching. That was fun.
Yep.
That was really fun.
All right, we out.
We out. Bye.
Thank you. Next
Bye,
up,
guys.
Abria.
All right, better pack my stuff.
If I told you the things I'd seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. Lived 1,000 lives, I've piloted 1,000 souls.